silent! Be still!
Always true with the.
That's why mine are always black.
Hereafter, so that we remember our bonds, we shall always come together in a circle.
It's not so much chill. We hit so many different topics and jump all over.
To hear and tell of deeds good and brave.
You went full cookie puss.
Hey, I'll just look.
I will build a round table where this fellowship shall meet.
So that's why it's the round table. We're all equals here.
Well, at least I'm not pulling a rickshaw.
Remember it well then, this night, so that in the years ahead, you can say, I was there that night.
There's a lot of shots being fired.
And it sounded like somebody was sucking down their microphone like a slack jaw bundle of sticks.
Whoa, there's no gay frogs here.
Good and evil, there never is one without the other.
Where hides evil then in my kingdom?
Always where you never expect it.
It passes through Antifa ranks. It smells like cat piss and kitty litter.
Yeah.
Impeccably. I know a few YouTubers who smell like that.
And look upon this moment. Savory! Rejoice with great gladness!
And welcome to the round table.
For it is the doom of men that they forget.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday Roundtable. Tonight, we're actually doing something a little different. I'm reviewing a series that I really enjoyed. That's Arcane. We're doing the first 3 episodes tonight of the first season. Next week, we'll probably do the next 3, and then so on until we finish the whole series. I wanted to start changing things up a little bit. But yeah, Friday we'll probably stick with the madness all around. Because I just saw in the chat someone was mentioning something with the Jay-Z thing. Yeah, like we could hit that on Fridays. That's no big deal. I mean, those creeps are always still going to be creeps. So we could talk about that anytime. But yeah, I did want to hit some positive things and something really cool. And like I said, I really did enjoy this series. The art direction, everything that kind of went into this, and the story itself is fantastic. So yeah, I thought we'd start breaking it down. But let me introduce my my co-host for the evening, and hopefully for the duration of the series. We have superfan Adam Shawhan in the Wiener Dog Clan.
All I have to say is, yeah, it was definitely, if you watch the first 3 episodes and if you don't get into it within the first 3 episodes, then you're probably not gonna like it. But I enjoyed the storytelling. Man, this is wonderful. I mean, there we go. So there we go. Yeah, right away, right into episode 2. But yeah, love the artwork. I love the artwork within the artwork and the storytelling. Oh man, and that's without ruining anything.
Yeah,
you see this within the first 3 episodes. You see how awesome the artwork is and the way they tell the story, and just the opening. I can't wait to get into it. But
yeah, because
I hear what Trina has to say personally.
Yeah, because I'll say one thing too, because it's been a minute since I seen the first season, and I finished the second season like, I don't know, a week and a half ago or something. And when I started rewatching it again, because we're going to start covering them, there are major connecting things, shit that they did that was just so brilliant, and a throwback to the first series and certain characters and things of that nature. So like I said, this was mapped out in a really good way, and yeah, so looking forward to jumping into this. So, but of course, we also have another fantastic co-host tonight. We got Trina. How you doing, Trina?
I'm well, happy to be here with you guys. Yeah, I am looking forward to getting into this. I really enjoyed the first 3 episodes. That's all I've seen so far. Sweet. And yeah, I'm glad I watched it because, yeah, like Adam has already said, it's a great storytelling and it's a beautiful looking show. So yeah. And hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Happy Sunday night.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, Trina, yeah, it's so happy to have you on this. And I'm very happy you enjoyed the first ones as well. Because this thing, again, it has a lot of emotional impact. The score that they had, like the bands and the music that are involved in this as well. Um, Everything just kind of hit a really good note. And I know in episode 3, there's even like the horror elements that they put into this. Because there's specific shots where they're trying to, keep the reveal of something, and it gets pretty intense pretty quickly. But that's just a glimpse of what we end up getting throughout the entire series, because there's some more really crazy stuff that happens. So it's a blast. And for those who didn't know, on Wednesdays, Trina and I on her channel on Real Horror, we cover the Hannibal TV series. So if you haven't seen that yet, start diving into that one, because we're going to be covering episodes 2 and 3 this Wednesday. So I want to make sure everyone knew that. We're gonna talk about that again later as well on the outros. But yes, always a blast. So happy to have you guys on.
Happy to be here.
Damn right.
Ecstatic to be here, especially to talk about something that was excellent and fun. And yes.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. And yeah, we're going to dive in head first on it. But first, let me say a quick hello to the chat. We had Adam was the first one in tonight. Hail, brother. We got Gab After Dark over on the Rumble side. What's up? Yeah, like I said, we'll start hitting some of that on Friday. There's plenty of crazy stuff going on in the world. But yeah, we know. Anyway, yeah, Friday we'll hit that. Toy Mafia, he's also in here tonight. What's up, man? Good seeing you. Manless Motivation, what's up, man? Yeah, man. Macho Madness. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Captain Outis saying hello as well, everybody. Yeah, that's right, man. Yeah, we are assembled, and like I said, we're gonna cover some good stuff. No negative Nancy's. I want to make sure everyone's gonna have a good time too. So yeah, I urge you guys, if you haven't yet, please check it out, because there's gonna be spoilers as we cover this series. And there is some amazing stuff we can definitely hit with this. And Keely, man, yeah, what's up, man? Good seeing you. Right off the bat, again, this is a fantasy world. This is based off of a video game series that I've never played, so I don't know anything about them. I did draw the Jinx character that you see here on the center of the screen. On my profile there. But I didn't know anything about it. It's something I did for a convention, and the prints were moving, and I was like, I was happy about that. She's also in my art books. But what they did here, from what I understand, is their own unique story using these characters, and like the world is there. So we have basically like the underground city of Zorn, and then the city above, it's more of like the upper middle class and the ultra elite. Pinthos, I believe it was called. So you have these two different kind of worlds that are colliding in a way. So in the opening, we're introduced to these two characters, these two sisters, Violet and Powder. And the Powder is the one with the blue hair. They're on the bridge. Violet's got like that reddish hair, and it opens with the really cool, crazy angle. And again, some destruction that happened. We got like this kind of smoke and stuff that's going on here, this reddish orange kind of feel. And you just hear the little girl's voice singing. And as you're hearing this and they're getting closer, you're seeing like these bodies like on the floor. And so the Violet is the older sister. She's the one with the reddish hair, and she's making the younger one cover her eyes with her own hands and sing. So she didn't hear or see anything. And as they're kind of like, again, this is a family story. Right off the bat, they wanted to throw you in there, and I think it was very wise that they did it with these two characters. So as you see that, they're seeing this kind of death and destruction around them, and then you hear someone like you see silhouettes, and there's a struggle or whatever. And this big dude, his name's Vander. He started beating the crap out of these like soldiers on this bridge, and as he does, you see the two little girls. He sees them, and they're looking for their parents. And basically, you see some of the smoke clear, and the bodies of their parents are there, and these kids are like destroyed. So he ends up taking them in, and pretty intense stuff, like right off the bat, and it really introduces you into this world and these characters, which I thought was very, very smart how they did it, because then we have a little bit of a time jump where they're a couple years older. How old would you say like the girls are on the bridge?
Yeah, they seem maybe about like 5 years older or so.
Yeah, that would probably be like Powder. So Violet would be what, maybe 8 or 9, possibly 10?
Yeah. Oh, like okay, so right when it starts, yeah, I would say probably like 5 and 10, and
Yeah.
then the time jump, I would say like 10 and 15,
Yeah, I see.
something around there.
Yeah, that's about right, I'd say. So the time jump is really cool because like you go from this kind of really sad kind of moment into this beautiful open sky, and these kids are like, you see 4 kids like running on rooftops and stuff. And it is the 2 of these girls again 5 years later, and there's 2 other kids with them, Milo and Clogger, I think his name was, or Klager.
Yeah.
So it's the chubby kid with the goggles, and this
The
and
dirty
the
little
kid.
rat kid that picks locks.
Yeah, Milo.
Milo,
So it was really cool. So they get a tip, and you hear kind of, it's good banter that they're having like for these kids, and they got a tip about somebody's apartment and whatnot. So they're running on these rooftops because they don't want to go on the underground part, or I'm sorry, on the regular street, because the regular street, there's these guys they call the enforcers who work for the elite. They're like this kind of special army, and yeah, they're like soldiers, and they don't like the people from the underground. So they're trying to stay out of sight. So you see them.
Did you say somebody that's trying to stay out of sight? I heard people trying to stay out of sight, and I thought that's my time to pop in.
Welcome, brother. How you doing?
You know, don't ask. Don't ask. I'm just waiting for the world to end.
Oh boy.
I want to try to take up for Brutal since he ain't here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I heard some stuff regarding the end of the world recently. Like, no, like we're covering Arcane tonight. I'm staying on YouTube.
Right.
But yeah, there's plenty of time for crazy shit. But yeah, we're just kind of started diving into this. Tommy, I don't know if I think you said you've seen it before, like when it first came out.
No, yeah. I mean, that was a little bit a while ago. I really hated Demona.
There is no Demona in this.
I know. I just wanted to see if you were on top of things.
I was thinking I missed somebody. I was like, wait, what? Who?
No, it's just a pig.
See, I've never played League of Legends, so I had
neither.
no clue about it whatsoever. I remember watching, I thought, it's okay. I mean, but you know me, I'm not huge into anime to begin with anyway. So even if I just say it's okay, it means it's decent enough.
Well, my kids have both played this game, and I was asking as my husband and I were watching the first 3 episodes. I called one of them into the living room. I was like, "Hey, is this lore accurate to the game?" And he's like, who's this and who's this and stuff, and some of the names he didn't recognize, but he did recognize Vi and Powder, and but it's a little bit different for the show,
Right.
so it seems like there's some artistic license going on with it, but there is also lore accuracy as well.
Yeah, because there is a lot from what I understand too, especially kind of the world that they have here. But I think once we hit episode 4 and we start talking about that, call your sons back in and then ask them, because by the 4th episode you're going to see more characters, I guess, that are more familiar with the ones that are actually in the game and whatnot. But this is good. It's almost, I guess, like a prequel of sorts to the actual game. Again, no, I've never played it. Had no interest in playing it. I honestly still don't have interest in playing it, but I did like these characters and this story and what they made. So it's not anime. It's not necessarily like a traditional.
It is anime.
What are you talking
Everything is anime. Every cartoon is anime.
animated.
Because anime means nothing but animation.
Well,
like this whole idea
true.
that it's all Japanese because it's called anime is absolute. It's hogwash.
Well,
It's
anime,
a bunch of malarkey. You listen to
anime
me,
actually,
bucko.
well,
Anime means cartoon in
yeah,
Japanese.
anime actually started here. There, with traditional Japanese animation, it did start over here first, and then
Exactly. Well, I wanted to get back to something that Trina said where she was talking about. She asked her kids about the show,
Yep.
and it was the same thing for me when I was going to watch that Friday Five Nights at Freddy, and I remember we wanted to have a discussion about it, and I didn't know a whole lot about it, so I'd asked her about it, and so I asked her the same questions, like, well, how close were they to the lore? And you're starting to see that a little bit more with a lot of these game movies and game shows that you never used to see before. Because remember all the freaking wonderful hits we got when they translated video games into shows or movies, how accurate they were and how great they did. But it seems like they're starting to pay a little bit more attention there because gamers are a very fanatical base. You want to talk about like real fans. They are the real fanatics, a lot of gamers, and they like to see shit the way that it was in the game. Look what they did with Sonic. There's a perfect example how the fans are not going to put up with something that's getting destroyed. So I think this is another one where they're, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like, they're coming close to the lore while making some small changes. And it was the same thing with the Five Nights at Freddy. A lot of that was pretty damn close to the original lore, but there were a few I guess you would say, liberties taken with the story to make it different than the original. Why they didn't need to. They keep everything exactly what it was in the game. You're really going to make all the fans of that franchise happy. I just don't understand why they feel like they got to take these creative licenses and change it just a little bit to make it their own. It's dumb.
Yeah. Well, I was going to get into it a little bit more because there was more that went into this series as a whole. And that's what I was going to get into. So the style that they chose to do with this, it's a mix of like 3D animated stuff mixed with like a painterly style. And that's the one thing that really drew me into this because it felt like almost like my type of drawing style and what I've kind of done like come to life in 3D because I've had thoughts of some of my projects to have been done in a similar fashion. And I was like, oh, wow, this is incredible. Like it people could do it. It's achievable. Like I didn't know the type of work that would go into it, but having seen some of the behind the scenes, it is jaw dropping the amount of work that went into this entire series. And this is a French studio that they hired. So I guess the guys, the developers of the game, when they landed their deal with Netflix.
No, as soon as you say French, I get very worried because all I can think about is, how can I say this politely? Baguettes. And I get really worried because there's a whole lot of them in France. And real quick, Captain Aldous, I could never name a pig powder, and I'm going to tell you why. Has nothing against this game, but every time I think of powder, I think of that movie with that freaking pale white kid.
Oh,
and I am not naming the pig after that.
No, that's not good.
Right.
Plus, all my pigs are named after something from the 80s.
Yeah. See, there you go. But I gotta say, man, like what they did. So apparently, this studio that they used, they were actually doing music videos, and that's where they saw like they had something that was similar to this approach, and they were like, "This is pretty damn incredible." So they hit them up, and this company turned them down like 3 to 5 times. Damn. It's like, no, we can't do it. They go, we'd like to make an entire series, like full length, like movies type of stuff. They were scared because they only had like a handful of people working in the studio. It's impressive what they were able to do with their previous projects. But again, we're talking like 2 to 5 minute animations at best, not 45 minutes or close to that worth of animation and all that. So they didn't know what to do. They ended up getting a lot of money and they started building and hiring more people. And what they achieved was incredible. So my hat goes off to them. Like I said, even the score, everything that went into this.
Hold on, Vinny. You can't off your hat for them. It's got to be a beret.
I don't have a beret.
They are French.
I'm not French. They're French.
Yeah, they're French.
I got a little pea soup after the stream, ain't you?
No, I got. You know what I got? I got the Death Wish cap. That's what I got. I shot him. So, but all right. So what happens is here? It's pretty cool. So we have the 4 kids. They basically break into someone's apartment. They got a tip from someone else from in the underground, which was this little black kid.
Little man.
The little man is what he's known as right now. But
I don't know. This is starting to sound very racist, Vinny. Watch it.
David Tommy, again, I'm trying to stay on YouTube. I'm staying on YouTube. I don't want to kick you, brother.
Oh, the little black kid, the Echo.
Yep.
Yeah,
little man.
That's right. Yeah, he's Tommy. I was fucking with you.
I thought you kicked me. I was like, "What's going on here?"
But
he's making the chat think you're being mean to the pig,
right? Oh, damn it! Don't play them games. But yeah, no, they did a great job. So Powder, she's the smallest one out of all of them. This is the first job they're taking her on because the other ones are a little bit older than her, and like they're jumping on these rooftops, and they think she's too scared to do it. She does it. She listens to her sister, and she almost falls, but her sister grabs her in time. And you know the one really dirty looking kid, Milo, he's like they busting her balls. But you can tell that they're all like brother sister kind of. You know they've been growing up together.
We're all street rats, man. I mean, we might as well, you know, they are
sure.
though. That's, you know, from where they're from, they're just, you know, your average street rat.
Yeah.
Yep. So they basically they break in through the balcony, and the kid Milo is gonna like pick the lock, and Vi just kicks the door. She's like, she looks through the window, she's like, no one's here. Let's just go. Let's do this. So they get in and they start going through the guy's stuff, and they're like, who was this? Like they don't know anything about him. And they're trying to like fill their bags, whatever they think that they're finding. Powder, she sneaks into another room and she finds like these crystals. And as she finds these, they look like broken crystals. Like there's like, I don't know, maybe 6 of them or something. And as she's grabbing them, they're hearing something down the hall. So the owner of this apartment is coming back. So like they got to split. So as they do, Powder, she dropped one of those crystals and this thing rolls. And as it's rolling, like, they're getting to the other room. They're grabbing their stuff. They're about to leave the balcony. Half of them did. It's Violet, I think, Vi was the last one. And the crystal, it starts hitting like as it's rolling and jumping, it's like sparking and you see electricity. It hits a wall and it's a massive explosion. Crystal.
It's okay. Tommy's fucking with me.
Oh boy.
Well, everything he's saying just fits right into that comment. So it's sparking and yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway, there's a massive explosion. No, there's no crack pipe that blows up in anyone's face, but half that apartment is blown to shit. So yeah, they're like, oh my god, Vi, she takes a look over the balcony and you see like the enforcers on the street level, they're looking up and they see her and she's like, oh hell. So they gotta book it. So as they're running and they're leaving, they're trying to make it back to the underground and they're being chased now. And like the shots that they have, incredible. Like I said, the direction on this, the artistry that went into this. It's almost like a futuristic, like a sort of like Paris, European-ish, like the rich area. Or this.
You know what it really reminded me of? Well,
what's that?
When they're like when they're walking on the rooftops and stuff, and the airship goes by, that really reminded me of I think it was Final Fantasy. It was one of the earlier Final Fantasy games. I loved it. I thought it was so beautiful.
Like, another game it reminded me of. They did something very similar in some of the Fable games. If you ever played those.
Yeah, that's true.
I've heard of them, but I haven't played them. But yeah, just the direction's amazing, and like you see like there's like the bridge that's lifting up to get the boats to pass by, and they all kind of jump over. One of the enforcers, he falls in, but again, just the artistry it's breathtaking what they did. None of those other movie houses and animation studios really could hold a candle to what the hell they achieved on this. But so yeah, again, everything looks like painted backgrounds, painted characters. It's incredible. So as the
artwork itself's doing other things while and stuff that's about to be coming up as it had in the past. Just the opening with the way the bullet popped, and then when you see it, eject. They're running on the roof, and you actually feel like you're freaking there and it's animated.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
that's
Adam, you're giving all these wonderful descripts about this, and Vinny as well. And I think this is a really quick moment that should be pointed out. This is why you're talking about you don't want to see AI take these kind of things over,
Exactly.
because you're gonna lose that artistic touch, that human element that makes some of the backgrounds and everything else stand out. Like all the additions and extras that you're going to get in any kind of show or movie that are not going to be added unless you have the human element, because a computer is not going to think about adding these little subtle touches that a viewer, especially somebody who's played the game, and there's a lot of stuff that we have not played it, would absolutely miss, where somebody who played the game forever would notice right away.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing too, like you said, the human touch, because everything that you see with like the moments where these characters are acting and interacting, it was all acted out by the animators as well. So they recorded videos of themselves, because they made the majority of it too during lockdown. The first season alone took them 6 years to make, and they said it's one of the most expensive animated movies or TV series that's ever been done. That's another reason why they only did 2 seasons, because it is that expensive to do. And I don't blame them, because the amount of work it's jaw dropping. But yeah, like you said, there's human elements put through here. So if you had like AI like generate this whole thing, it would look weird. It would look odd.
Yeah, it wouldn't have the same kind of like soul to it.
Yep. That's perfect. Because this series definitely has soul. So anyway, yeah, they're running through the city and trying to find a way to get to the underground. They go through like a sewage kind of thing, and there's no other way to get to the next part. So they get like to, I guess, the next level. They're not on the way bottom yet, but they're like, I guess, mid-level, and like they think they're kind of in the clear at this point. The enforcers aren't following them anymore, and there's like a couple other street rats who like they think they're tough, or they're like, oh, what you got there? And Milo's kind of being cocky. He's like, oh, we got a great haul right here. How kids would be. The ones who
definitely.
The ones who want to be kind of braggadocious and dickish, and the other one's like, "What are you doing, man? Like, shut up!"
After running from the cops.
Yeah, right. So yes, this blonde-headed kid, he's got like a couple of his own little kind of goons, and they think they could rough them up, and so they all start fighting, and Violet's a pretty good boxer, because her father figure here, Vander, who took them in. You find out later that he was like a big, he was a big fighter, like a street fighter and whatnot, and more or less like a champion. It's almost like he's got his boxing gloves above his bar when you see it, but they're like these metal kind of gauntlet things. But he also used those to rough up when there was kind of like a war that was starting between the underground and the ones above, and that's what we saw in the opening on the bridge. He's kind of retired that stuff, because what had happened and how many people died, and you find this out in those first 3 episodes, is that he's not someone who wants to have any issues with them anymore. He wants to coexist, basically. And you find out in those first 3 episodes, he's sort of the guy everyone's looking up to. In a way, he's sort of running the underground, or most of it, to kind of keep people in check, because he's so well respected. So, so getting back to the kids that are fighting, Vi, she was trained by him, so she could hold her own. And Powder's the smallest one, and she's kind of afraid, and she's like against the wall looking at them all. She's seeing it in slow motion, who's getting decked in the face and the blood that's flying and everything. So one of the kids notices her, and she's holding the bag of the goods that they just got from that apartment. So they start chasing her, this one guy, and she's going through through the little kind of alleyways and whatnot, and so as that's happening, the other ones kind of like they finished their fight. Vi, the chubby kid, and Milo, they basically won, but as they're walking away, the kid with the blonde hair pulls a knife, and Vi goes up to the kid. She's like, you really want to see how this ends? And he's like, he's realizing, like, his other guys are on the floor, he's just holding that knife, and there's 3 of them, and he's kind of like, he puts the knife down and kind of runs away like the rat that he is.
And when you're first watching this and you see her like go up to him with the knife, and she says that it's very unbelievable, like you don't you when I first watched that, I'm like, okay, that's ridiculous. That like that is not, that would never happen. Like she would just be gone, right? But then we find out later that there's more to her.
Yeah, there's more to her, and again, like who her father figure basically is, and it's like there's enough that's behind it where if that kid actually tried to do something, whether he won or not, he would have just did something really, really bad for himself.
Yep.
So like it makes sense, you know. And that's what I love about the series, because the whole way it's like that. Because I know there's people who try to scream woke, woke, woke. It's not. It really
No,
isn't.
she is like, that's her character. That's legit.
Yep. Yeah, because she's
And after seeing the bridge and her years prior and what she walked through while protecting her sister, you got to keep that in the back of your mind as well.
Right.
Don't forget.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Because again, we're only 15 minutes into the first episode.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But it like I said, it's so great. So so they're kind of like, where's Powder? Where, like, they're trying to find where she went. So you see her now, and she gets a little bit away from one of them, but she's sort of cornered. So, and she's like near the water area, and like she's got like these little gadgets that she makes. Like she's trying to work on these kind of like bombs, and she's got like one filled with nails and smoke, and she goes, like she names them like they're animals almost. Or,
yeah.
Like a little girl would, like a little kid would kind of do, like, oh yeah, this is gonna protect me. So she goes to wind it up and she throws it on the floor, and the kid's like, what the hell's that? And it does explode, but it's like this kind of pink smoke, but nothing. It's not a big explosion. It's like it's almost like a little firecracker kind of thing. And the kid starts laughing. She's like, oh no. So he's ready to hurt her, grab the goods. So Powder, she takes the buckle off of it, and she goes to throw it. It hits like the ledge, and then as the kid's going to reach for it, it falls into the water, and he's trying to grab it, and then and Powder's gone. Like she got away, and when she meets up with the other ones, they go, oh, you're all right, and right away like, where the hell's the goods? And she's like, I had to ditch it. It's lost. It's in the river. And Milo's flipping out, and Violet's like, at least you're okay. But Milo's really pissed. He's like, she can't even take a punch. Like, what the hell? Like, the rest of us are getting their ass kicked. You could take a hit once in a while. And she's like, drop it. The chubby kid's kind of like, the portly kid, he's a little upset. And like, they get into like this elevator thing. And it's almost like, it almost feels like at a Batman 66, like when they go down like their little, they have like their secret thing. So it's like
place, the place where they're walking through the lanes. That place reminded me of, in Total Recall, the city on Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had that vibe for sure.
Yeah, because there was even one of those like prostitutes like outside the shop.
Yeah, that thing was funny. But so we get to the underground. You see like they're all kind of upset. They get to the underground. They're playing like really good music. That kind of, it's like "Welcome to the Playground" is the song, and it's really, like I said, well done. How they introduce you to the characters, the world, and then the different kind of levels. So that's what was smart about it. So as you're going through, like, you see how much, like, how dirtier and kind of nasty it is down there. And there's like the prostitutes like trying to bring in the guys. There's that drunk guy. He had to be one of the animators or something, because it's very specific how they drew him. And like you see this really one big, like, it's obviously it's a guy in a dress, like it's like a joke.
Yeah,
it's like a little split-second joke basically. So he goes into the whorehouse, and then you see him coming out. His pants are halfway around him, and he's like got his fist up like he's ready to fight them all.
Yep.
So they're showing that. You seeing people like smoking, drinking. They get to like this bar area, and inside we're introduced to like this other kind of odd looking guy who kind of cut a deal with these criminals or something. So he's getting drinks by the bar, and that's when we see Vander again. And he's basically the bartender. And so this guy, he sits down, and he's basically about to get ripped off by these two other kind of criminals. And Vander comes over and kind of saves him. And like, he puts his foot down, and the other two they're like, wait, who are you? Like, and as they go to open up their mouth, you see the entire bar like stops, and they're everyone inside the bar, and they're looking at them. He's like, "Well, you don't mess with the man who owns the joint, now do you? I serve the drinks." So like, you could see he's in control there, and like, he does like the head nod to them, and they all kind of cool down. And he's like, "Give the man what he's owed, what you promised him. Otherwise, we're gonna have some other encounters here." And you could see how he basically brokers the deal and makes the peace. And he even does the offering with like the peace pipe. He's smoking his pipe, and he offers it to them, and they're like, "Oh, this is rancid." He's like, "You get used to it." So like they kind of set the mood with that, and what he's kind of in control of as the kids come in, and he sees them from across the room, and they get into like the like not behind the bar, but underneath it, like basically his little joint, his little place there. And I guess it's their home essentially, because there's like bunk beds in there, and you could see it's more of like a lived-in environment, and they're all kind of down. They're hearing rumblings of something that happened, and more or less you hear that there was an incident on the above ground, and enforcers are kind of they're coming down, and they're looking for people basically. But yeah, so these kids, they're in trouble essentially, and Vander he goes to talk to him, see what the hell's up, what's going on. And as he does, they kind of they're trying to stay secret about things, right? What did the enforcers come in yet, or did he?
No, because right now he's getting ready to. You never go with a score and come back empty.
Right.
He's trying to get the information, but it's not really getting any. Until he breaks them.
Right.
Oh. And so when the kids are in that like the apartment underneath the bar, Vander is lecturing Vi about that the kids look up to her, and she's reckless with the kids.
Yeah, because she mouths off to him.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Everyone leave." So the other one's left, and he's having a little bit of a conversation with her. And it was very smart. It was very fatherly like. You could see he's got a more of a delicate touch with them, with the girls, and as you would expect, like I said, the writing is really there. It's on par with what you'd want to see anyway. So as they're talking,
at least tell me you knocked him on his ass.
Yeah, that was good too. Yeah, because she talked. Yeah, she said that they kind of got jumped, and that's why, and they didn't have the stuff. Powder lost it or whatever. And, and as he's like, "Well, yeah, at least tell me that you knocked them on their ass."
And he's actually glad that they lost the loot so that it doesn't tie them to the explosion.
Yes, which that was really good too. So because and he's taking care of like her wounds on her face a little bit, like he's got like peroxide or something, and he's like kind of mending to her, but he's like, all right, but now he goes, he needs to have a conversation because he knows there's people talking on the ground and above too. So he grabs like a bag full of stuff. He grabs a couple of things off the shelf, and you could see that kid Milo. He's got this little like metal tin thing, and he's listening in on the door. So as they hear Vander's coming, they're like pretending like, oh yeah, we're just leaning on the wall. And he's like, okay. So he goes, you want to act like adults, huh? He goes, well, you got to learn, you don't come back from a job empty-handed. So he takes the chubby kid with him, and he takes the tin thing out of Milo's hand because he knows he was listening. And he's like, all right, we're going to go to basically someone, he's like an underground a pawn dealer or pawn shop.
Yeah.
So the name of the place is Benzo's, and that's the guy's name who runs the place. So as he goes in there, you see Benzo, like, he looks up and he looks back down at whatever he was tinkering with. And he's like, yeah, we don't want any. Get out. And he's like, oh, I got plenty of goods here. And like you can see they're having like being dickish on purpose because they do know each other. You find out they're friends, and they're kind of having a laugh. And they're like, what happened? And he goes, there was an explosion or something that happened above ground. The enforcers are pissed. And he's like, what happened? And he's like, yeah. He goes, it's the kids, they did something stupid. But as they're kind of talking, the enforcers come in there, right?
Yes, that's when they walk in.
Yeah. So as they came in, there's the woman from the Penguin series with the raspy voice.
Mhm.
She's a really good actress. I've seen her in a couple of other things too. So she's like one of the lead enforcers, and she's got this Asian guy and a couple of other ones, and they're outside.
Oh,
The
he's
fact,
such a little dick.
yeah,
Asian guy.
he really is. But so the chubby kid was talking to the little man Echo, who they got the tip from. So before the enforcers come, the two of them are kind of talking, and he's like, "Yeah, what happened?" So the chubby kid takes off his goggles, and he sees he's got a black eye, and the kid's all excited. He's like, "Oh my god, did you fight enforcers?" He's like, "Oh no, we fought a couple other like street rats basically. They try to take our stuff." And so you find out the little kid Echo, he gave him the tip about the apartment. And you find out that kid, basically Benzo, he took in that little kid, and he's teaching him how to like kind of run the shop, and like he's taking care of stuff, and he's got like an ear to the ground, which is good. Like they did a really good job with how they kind of set the tone and the atmosphere with these kids, with the father figures, and you could tell how they keep the peace. Like these two guys, Benzo and Vander, they're like on the smart side of kind of like, I guess, how the underground would kind of work, or even like criminal organizations. They're not evil, but they're doing what they have to survive. Like it makes sense.
That's actually when we find out that that Vander keeps, like, they consider all the people that live, what do they call them?
The ones from the Pentos area. Underground.
Underground people. Yeah, they
of Zon.
Yeah, I can't remember what they refer to the people though. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I forgot too. Yeah, they kind of give them like a.
They have topsiders, and then they have the undersiders or something like that. But this is when we find out that Vander has an agreement with the enforcers that if he keeps his people off topside, that they'll basically leave them all alone.
Yeah.
So he's like the leader of the underground.
Pretty much, yeah. Like they all respect him, and they'll listen to him. Because what happens when the enforcers come? The chubby kid, he kind of runs and hides, and the little black kid, Echo, he kind of sneaks up to the upper apartment, and he's got like a bunch of like things that you can kind of spy on them and listen in on what's going on. Because again, that's how this kid operates. That's how Benzo kind of operates too. So like they know what's going on in the little underground. But so he's listening to the conversation, and the one with the raspy voice, the enforcer, yeah, she definitely has a deal with Vander, and they know like they want the people responsible, and he's like, I'll see what I could do, but he's not saying who's involved. He's not saying anything like that, because people died, people got hurt with this explosion and like all the rubble that came down. So so they're basically you could see something's up there for sure. So as that happens, when are we introduced to Silco?
Oh, let me see.
I'm trying to remember.
Episode.
No, he popped up before then.
Not in the first episode.
At the end here.
At the end of the episode?
Yeah, because we got to get to with the kid telling them what happened, because he actually was supposed to follow them and see what they were doing.
Oh, yeah, the kid with the blonde hair.
Because Benzo and him were talking about the fact someone from inside was following them. One of them were following the girls, but they didn't know why.
Right.
Silco, Vander.
Silco's the guy with the weird eye, right?
Yeah.
In my notes, he doesn't show up till episode 3.
But at the very end, because they're there with the fish, but yeah, exactly, because we get to find out that kid was paid by Vander, or not by Vander, by him to follow him. And Vander was talking with the other dude about that.
No. I thought that was episode 2, because at the end of episode 2, there's the doctor in the experiment with the cat and the mouse.
Well, 3 is his storyline, because we're about to get into Jace's storyline with 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Episode 2.
Where did the first episode end? I'm trying to remember.
let me see my notes. It ends in my notes. It ends with enforcers are on their way, and Vi is waiting at Benzo's, and we
that
just
was
see
2.
her, and people are approaching the shop.
That was the end of 2.
That was the end of 2. Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, we gotta get back to 1 because
Where the
it's after the kind of the encounter with the enforcers and Benzos, because there's they're saying
Oh,
there
okay.
was more damage and stuff.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I see. Yeah. The thing where they give the mouse the potion and all that. That's the end of episode 1.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I knew Silco was on the first one.
Yep. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then, all right. So then, yeah, we're pretty much on par with it. So yeah, the blonde-headed kid, yeah, he was supposed to get the goods and find out what the hell was going on.
Yep, because he was the one that was paid to follow him, and then thought that he could take them, and then that's not what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, and Silco was pissed. So Silco, he's like the darker side to the underground. He kind of has his own little group and faction of people, and he's working on something. He's got like this these vials and things like this he calls it shimmer. It's like a sort of like a street drug or something, but there's a more potent version of this thing that they're kind of working on. So after he kind of scares the kid with the blonde hair and and he leaves, so he's got like a mad doctor that's kind of working with them, who he's tinkering with something too, and he goes, "Is it ready?" He goes, "I believe it is." And he goes, let's do a test." So he's got like a little aquarium thing or whatever that's empty, and there's a mouse.
Kitty cat.
Yeah, there's a mouse in there, and then he puts his cat in there, and I guess this purple kind of drink thing, whatever, instead of water, that's what the mouse was kind of drinking out of, and it starts to mutate this mouse, and you see like his eyes are going, and he's got veins and stuff, and apparently he grew pretty big because we're now seeing through the mouse's eyes at the cat, and the cat's shitting its pants, and it kind of like rushes at him with like a speed and a force that you wouldn't expect. And then you just see a view of the two of them looking down into it, like their eyes open, and the glass is partly shattered, and there's blood all over this tank that the mouse just slaughtered the cat. And he's like, "Okay, it looks like it works."
Very Resident Evil, if you will.
So he goes, "And what about the side effects?" And he goes, "It does wear off. It's not something that is permanent. So we don't know the full effects yet." And he goes, "Do you have a test subject in mind?" And he's like, "Yes, I actually do." And you see like the empty chair where that kid was sitting earlier.
Yeah, because he sent him off to get fed and hid, remember?
Yeah.
Because again, with the explosion, everybody's got to kind of duck and hide.
Yeah. What's his name again?
Deckard.
Okay. Yeah, so they go to kind of clean up that kid or whatever. So in the start of the second episode, now we're seeing from that apartment again, the other side of the door. So the kids are on the inside stealing everything, and we're seeing the
homeowner's point of view.
The homeowner, yeah. And it's this guy Jace. It's like this younger guy, and he has an assistant with him named Caitlin, this little Asian girl or half Asian girl or whatever. And she's from more upper class. She's from money. And Jace, from what we find out, like his family, like what are they, like welders or something? Like they have like a hammer business.
Yeah, hammers.
Something along those lines. So he's kind of like your middle class.
Lay the hammer down, baby.
Yeah, he's like your middle class kind of thing. But he's like he's working on. He's a scientist. He's working on stuff. So as he goes to open up his door, it's like, because they put a chair there. Vi put a chair there in case someone does come to buy him a little time, which was wise because that's what they needed. So I was like, "Hey, who's in there? Somebody in there?" And he's trying to open up his door and he can't because the chair is there. And that's when they go out the balcony. The stone or the crystal hits the wall and explodes. And you see he goes flying back. He bangs his head, and he's seeing like their feet over them as they're running out, and he blacks out. He wakes up and he's being kind of taken care of, and he didn't know what the hell had happened. And like they have the enforcers there, and they're trying they're going through his belongings and stuff, and they find out he's got illegal stuff there.
I like how they did this. So I like how they started off this episode as the other side of the door from episode 1. I
Well,
thought that
remember, he's knocked out too. So then we go to when he's a child at the very beginning here. You're kind of jumping forward, Vinny, not to.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because
Yeah.
it's because this is where we get the flashback. You know,
Right,
you
yeah, when he
Yeah.
bangs his head.
we
yeah,
see the
that's
other
right.
side of the door and everything, which is awesome. But in the very first episode, we get to see the very, very beginning of the war that they're coming from, and then this one it gives us his origin, if you will, as a child.
Yeah.
Yep.
True. Yeah. No, that's a really good point. Yeah, my bad. But yeah. So you see him and apparently his mother walking through the snow. They're trying to get away from everything, and they're freezing to death. Like the mother falls down. You see like her fingers are kind of turning black. It looks like they're ready to die. And there's like a mysterious kind of hooded character person that pops up, and he's got like this stone or something in his hand and in his staff, and he starts to like move it around, and he's making like basically like a spell or something, and the kid's like looking at him, like young Jace is looking at with his eyes are all open, and like basically he transports them to another place altogether. You know, beautiful green grass. It's warm out. It's, you know, it looks like springtime. And the kid's like still looking at him in shock, and the mother's still kind of like a little bit out of it, but waking up, going like, "Wow, where are we?" And this hooded character, he puts his hand out, and there's like this little like shard, this blue stone that with like a little rune kind of carved into it, and he hands it to the young Jace. And as he hands it to him, that's when he wakes up, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And
it's this character here, of course, that you see that I've got for the background that Vinny's describing, and it's just it was just awesome, especially this scene where you see the earth and then it flashes with the eyeball.
Yeah, again, the visuals are so great.
And
on
then
this.
we go to where you were, and again, I do apologize, but it was kind of important because because where you're at now,
it's very important because this is where his fascination with magic comes.
Yep. Yeah. This was huge. Yeah, absolutely.
and again, we get to learn so much about the character, and it took like 2 minutes. And
Oh,
it was just storytelling done perfectly with
Yep.
a flashback.
Yep. Storytelling
Yep.
101. Excellent stuff right there. Yeah. So yeah, we care about this character right off the bat. We see what his motives are and what's his driving force, and it is this. This is why he has these. He had those blue stones. The one that exploded and everything. So as they're in their apartment, they're seeing that he's got like illegal stuff. He shouldn't have these things. You know, there's stuff that's pointing towards a direction that kind of forbidden in Pentos. And as he's going through, is that when Victor's there too, right? Does he
Not yet.
There?
He's getting ready to come in with the professor.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little behind. Or again, the last one I saw was 3. I was spreading them out.
No, you've been spot on, but I can't remember the little professor fella. The 300 year. Yes, thank you. Him.
Yeah.
Him, and then Victor comes with them because they start talking with them about, we have to take you and all your shit. And
Yep. Yeah. So because Heimerdinger, he's a character. He's this little guy who basically he's been around for a very long time.
307 years old.
370?
307.
Yep, 307. He's 307 years old, and he's a scientist.
Yeah. And he's like a funny little furry kind of character. You could see again, like with his introduction, like we're not in regular Earth, right? This is a fantasy world entirely. And it was really well done how they did it.
It's like the never-ending story characters and stuff. You know what I mean, too.
Yeah.
It's like all the good stuff from childhood, man. It's awesome.
There's a little bit of everything, and that's why I really enjoy what they did. So so this character, he's a very smart one, and he sees like the dangerous stuff that he has because this guy Jace has notes and stuff everywhere. He's got a giant chalkboard that he's got all these kind of equations and things, and so. Because of this explosion happened in his place and he's got this illegal stuff, they want to try him. And they go, he's not what he's doing is not right. And he's a student of Heimerdinger in this school. so they have like these young minds and they want more scientists and stuff. They're trying to better their world and their, the upper class, the upper people there. So, but when they put him basically in handcuffs and he's awaiting his trial, Heimerdinger pops up and he tells him, he's like, listen, boy, like, I understand what you were doing, what you're trying to go for, but just he gets it out of him that he was messing with magic, and he's like, this is something that we shouldn't go near. He goes, I've been around long enough to know how dangerous this stuff is. So it's like, just when you're in front of the basically like the jury there, the council, just tell them that you'll never do it again. It was a silly mistake. You're because you are a very intelligent kid, and we want to see you thriving more and doing more scientific stuff. And he goes, so you should basically get like a slap on the wrist. So
leave out the magic.
Leave the magic out because it's dangerous realm for all of them. But yeah, he doesn't get too into it. Later he does, and what he's seen, and because how dangerous magic is. So where are we with the kid when we get back to the underground? Because
So in the underground, Milo and the gang, Milo and Powder, are practicing shooting their target.
Oh, that's right. They got to lay low.
Arcade.
Yeah. They got to lay low, so they're like in an abandoned arcade kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Vi, there's like this kind of boxing setup thing. There's like this machine where she's been training on, which again makes sense with the character and what they're doing. And it's sort of like an updated version of like when you test your strength with like when you punch the thing in the arcade to see how strong you are. So it's like because it punches back. So like she's dodging and weaving and all that crap, and she's got a super high score. And then you see, oh, go ahead.
It's good. I just really appreciate this because it's like a little underground version of like this training arena.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so like and like the girls, you see Milo's being a dick. Like he's the one that was
just leave her at home next time.
Yeah, like he's getting he's like, what is she good for anyway? And
I could actually hit it if she quit fixing it.
Yeah,
and remember, he always refers to her as a jinx. That's important.
Yep. Yeah, he keeps saying it every job. Yeah, she screws up.
She
like
keeps
that.
jinxing it because she fixes everything. I could hit it just by he's shooting the gun, not hitting anything. Like he's missing the carnival shit.
Yeah. So she grabs the gun and she's like, "This is how it's done." She hits every target perfectly, and then like gives him a dirty look, and then goes to one of her other games, and she's like, like a Pac-Man type thing, and she's like, pouting and getting all upset. Like
I have to ask you, Vinny. Hold on. So now when Violet goes off on him and says when to shut up when I make this face, and then he's still talking, he's making the face again, and it's the same face that Powder just made.
Yes. Okay.
Please tell me it wasn't just me that caught that.
No. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you this. Every time you watch it, you're gonna find other little things.
So I said the art within the art, and then the way they told the story, and it's just oh my goodness.
I'm glad you said that too, because I forgot a very important part as well. So when the kids before they go to their little hideout, they kind of staying laying low. They're in the behind the bar apartment, and Powder realized, she just remembered she's got a handful of those gems in like a little pouch she had, because she was kind of going through garbage and stuff looking for these. She's finding like little metal parts to make like these kind of bombs. She wants to make smoke bombs and little things like that. So she goes to put it in her pouch, and she realized, oh my God, I got these. Oh yeah, I do have something from the job. So she goes to run over to her sister to tell her what she has, and she overhears Milo being a dick. Vi's kind of taking her side, and then again, like your classic kind of thing you'd see in a sitcom, like she overhears something she's not supposed to, or like the wrong part of something. So Milo's being a dick, and he's like, why don't you just admit it? Like your sister, like she's a jinx. She keeps doing horrible things and blah, blah, blah. He's like, you know what? You're right. And as like Powder heard that, she got upset and walked away. And then in the same breath, Violet gets up and goes, yeah, you are right. You're right. It could have been worse. She could have been complaining about every job. She could have been doing like everything Milo was doing. He's like, huh? What? It's like, yeah. He goes, maybe you should just shut up. And she goes, you see every time I make this face? Yeah, that means shut up. And he keeps trying to interject, and she's pointing at her face, making these faces. So yeah, later you do see Jinx or Powder. She did the same thing to him. But Violet ends up going over to Powder. She's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like she sees her by her bunk bed, and she's like tinkering and drawing faces on her little bombs, her little handmade bombs. And she named a new one and all that. Like the sister's trying to be like a good sister. And she's like, well, like what's wrong? She's like, I overheard you, and like basically she repeated something that was said that wasn't nice or whatever. And but you could see it wasn't anything it wasn't anything serious. And Violet kind of like, oh no, like she changes the subject and kind of she's there for. But Powder does explain something to her later in the episode because the two sisters, Violet grabs her, goes, I want to show you something, and they go to the roof and she shows her a couple like silly little things that had happened, like to the other two, Milo and the chubby kid. So
proving that they're not perfect either.
Yeah, and they screwed up in the beginning too. So the one kid made, he tripped and he hurt himself. The other one, he was trying to draw a big middle finger on a billboard, and he messed up, and his ass print is stuck on the billboard. It got covered in paint.
Over his own paint bucket.
Yes, and she was even me. She goes like, because she's got like kind of like the parkour stuff, and that's when you see she goes, you see over there like there's like a stuffed bunny or something that's hanging, and she goes, a couple of guys like they basically like they bullied me and they took my favorite toy and they tossed it up there and I've never been able to get it. So she goes, we all kind of screw up, so don't feel bad. She goes, I believe in you, and she kind of cheers her up, and that's when Powder goes, oh, actually, there's something I have, and she tells her about like those stones that she had. She goes, should we tell Vander? And right away she goes, no, and Powder's like, huh? Why not? And she's like, no, we'll keep it our secret. She's like, oh, okay. But she kept them with her. So when they're in they're kind of like in the little hideout laying low, Powder notices the enforcers came down again, and they're just trying to get answers from people. They're looking for these kids. They're being mean to other people in the streets. And one guy's like, he's not taking any of it, and he's talking back. So as Powder turns, she goes, maybe we should hide. Like she's about to say something, and you see a body goes flying through the glass window into where they are, and all the enforcers stop and look, and they see all the kids in there. Like, let's go question them. So they get inside, and the other kids are kind of playing it cool. Milo and the chubby kid don't know about those stones, only the sisters do. And Violet sees that Powder still has it in her pouch, and like an enforcer's coming towards her. So Violet kind of nods over to the chubby kid, and he hits the lights. And you see like these kind of like cool like drawings and stuff on the floor. Like
where did this happen? What episode?
The second episode.
I jumped a little because I forgot that part with the sisters on the roof. That was, I think, in episode 1. Episode 2 is when we first see them in the little arcade thing, like the little underground thing they're hiding in. The enforcers had come down, the Asian guy and the other ones. Not the woman though.
No. He went down there and was questioning people, and then they were questioning the one kid, and he spit on him, and then they threw him through the window, and then that's when they seen all of them, and then they hit the lights, and you see like black light drawings and everything in the arcade, and the games start kicking off, and then the kids take off, and he even shoots him with that gun that's got the rubber bullets.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, the enforcers don't move because
they're just like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's the same.
It was almost kind of like, are you kidding me, kid?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're O'Neill. Yeah, we're not on Marcus yet. That character has more of. That is the same one, I believe, that we end up seeing later in season 2. But yeah, we I guess we see this one as a little kid. But yeah, we'll get into that later. But yeah. So actually, on I think episode 4 is where we'll see that other character. Because right now we're just doing the first 3 episodes of season 1. If you just came in, but so so they basically like they're going to be running from these enforcers, and they kind of go through that kind of the target practice area where Powder and Milo were shooting at. So there's like a back door there, so they're kind of going through it, and Powder gets grabbed by the hair. And as she does, there's like one of these contraptions there, and she hits the button, and these giant metal jaws come down the guy's arm, and it lets her go, and they split. So they get into the alleyway, and that enforcer, I believe it was the Asian guy, he pulls a gun on them, like he's about to shoot them, and Echo kind of saves them because they're cornered, and he kicks down the like the ladder, like on a fire escape thing, and they climb up it. And as they do, like one of the enforcers falls on the other ones, and they kind of get away. Or the whole ladder, I think, Vi kicked, so it falls on them, and they can't get back up. So she's like, "Yeah, we got to make sure those stones are hidden." And Power's like, "Yeah, no shit." So they kind of disappear a bit, and we see a little bit more of kind of what's going on with Silco as well. So he basically had like a little factory going. He's doing something else there, and you could tell he's like making a bigger play. He's very very mob-like in his approach to what he's doing. I like he has like a classier look to him as well. But the other people in the underground by the bar, like, they're getting upset because now the enforcers are coming down there too much. They're bothering everyone, and they want Vander to step up. And he kind of has words with the character. There's Svika, I think her name was. She's like this Indian-looking broad with a big nose, but she's like one of the tougher ones. Like I guess Pete would call her like a muscle mommy, a little bit of that type of thing, where she almost has like that Rhea Ripley vibe to her.
A little bit.
Which again, it's a pretty good design, and for the character that she portrays during this, it's pretty damn solid. So she's kind of having words with Vander in front of everyone too, and she's like, "Listen, we got to do something. This ain't right." And he's like, "We're not going down that path. We're going to keep the peace." She's like, "Yeah, this doesn't look good, you know." And he's like, "You look weak." It's just basically what she says to him. She's getting pissed, and she kind of leaves. And he's like, "No." He's like, "We got to do something." Like, they're getting restless. He knows they're getting restless, but he's trying to keep the peace. And in the meantime, the Asian enforcer, he gets a call down there, and Silco, the dude with the eye, with this messed up eye, the kind of mob guy, he's having a conversation with him. Basically, he meets him somewhere, and you see like what happened to that kid when he I'm sorry, I'm jumping again. What happened to the mouse rather when they drink that purple pinkish shit, whatever. Like, you kind of see like it looks like it's spiraling out like these veins by a doorway. It's like whatever, like they've been messing in there. So he's got that scientist doctor who's doing crazy experiments and trying to make a drug out of this stuff for people to get high off of and everything. And he calls down that enforcer to have a conversation with them. And you could tell basically because this enforcer is a dick, and he wants to get his hands down there basically. And this guy Silco is going to be kind of.
Did that stuff also remind you guys of like Bane?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
The Venom serum, something like that. Which we're going to get more into because these start to move pretty quickly. So like by the time we get to the end of episode 2 and going into 3, there's a lot that's happening now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like the hammer's dropping quicker on all of them. So these kids, everyone knows that they're involved. The head enforcer chick, she knows she needs to get them. She tries to have another conversation or whatever with Vander, and she did give him like this tube, and they have like that air kind of system like you usually see like in those like the old movies in the they did it on Futurama.
Yeah, Futurama. Yeah.
Yeah, they have like the tubes that go all over the city basically. So like she wants him to give up either the kids involved, whoever did this, and to to basically we need someone. She doesn't care who it is. It looks like either. She's like, we need someone. We because they're getting upset up there. There was an explosion. All these people that are involved, all this crap. So
we just need someone's head.
Yeah, we need
felt
somebody.
Very like somebody has to pay for it because they were covered in glass. Who
Yeah.
gives a crap about glass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you and you have so the Asian dude, he comes into the Asian enforcer. He comes into Vander's bar and he like makes a scene, and it's just him and like two other guys. Like he goes, "Oh, what are you having?" And he's like, "Oh, 4 street rats. Deliver them now." And Vander's like, playing dumb, like, "I have no idea what you talk about. I'll give you a drink." He's like, "Yeah, you want to scope out the place or whatever?" "Yeah, I think I do." Like, and he sends one of the enforcers to go to his apartment that's in the back there. So as Vander's getting a drink for him, there's a button underneath his bar. He presses it as he's grabbing a drink for the guy, and you see like this the little monkey, the wind-up monkey that has like the symbols that it hits. Its eyes are glowing red and it's smashing. It's basically an alarm system, and it goes off and you see it fall on the floor, and all the kids, all the 4 kids, like they were staring at it, like, oh shit. So yeah, so they're ready to scatter or hide, as the Asian dude's having some nasty words with Vander, and being a real dick, where everyone in the bar's ready to get up and beat them up, and putting him in, like trying to put Vander in his place, like, I know what you are and everything else. And he's not even taking a drink. He takes Vander's pipe out of his hand and he drops it into the shot glass, and like the fire's going, and he's like, "I'm gonna get all you guys. I don't care what it takes." And he was like, you could see how disgusted he is with the underground, but he's being a real prick about it and all the people that are down there. Because if he had his way, or if he was in charge, he'd definitely make sure that everyone either got arrested who did crime shit and all that. Because he goes, every coin that travels in here, I know it's illegal. Like, you people are all slime, is basically what he's saying. Yep. So as he's having words and pissing off Vander and pressing his buttons, in the back, as the enforcer's kind of looking all around, the kids are gone, and like you see like the footsteps go by, and the guy drops to the floor. Like he looks under a bed, no one's there. You're looking everywhere. And it starts to pan up, and you see the kids are hiding like on the rafters of, right underneath the bar. You see where they are, like through the ground, and and then like the enforcers are kind of like going through everything. And as they are, Powder's losing her grip. She's in a really weird position where she's holding onto a pipe and her hands are slipping, and the other ones can't get to her. They can't reach her. So like as like the last enforcer's ready to close the door, like he stops, he looks back. As he slams the door, Powder falls, and you whoop, boom, boom. And
it hits the ground, man. Like, I mean, you would have heard the kathump.
Yeah,
I could lie, man. If you fell that far after shut the door, ain't no door shut, and you ain't gonna go, fuck, that hurt.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna swing open again.
Me too. Like, she felt like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, it was funny. So as the guy gets back to the bar, he shakes his head like, no, there's no one there, and the Asian dude's really pissed. So he's like, I'm going to come back here. And he takes his metal baton and he hits the drink, and there's fire across his the bar. And as he's leaving, you could see like Vander's pissed. And at the same time, I was like, I got to do something. This is getting really bad now. And yeah, like I said, the rest of the underground is pissed. So we do cut back to Jace, the guy whose apartment it was. And he's in front of the council. And he's basically kind of pleading his case, and he's kind of saying what the little guy, Heimerdinger, was telling him, like, don't mention magic. And as they're all kind of talking, like, you could see Jason getting pissed, and he's like, no. And like, what? He's like, I was trying to create magic, and the rest of the room is all fucking like, what? What are you talking about? So there's a woman named Mel. She's one of the counselors. This black chick with a black and white dress and like gold. Like gold tattoos or paint that's on her face and on her shoulders. There's something about her that she admires this guy Jace from what we're seeing, and she kind of wants to hear him out. And the other ones, there's one of the guys in the council whose whole world was basically destroyed because of magic. Mm-hmm. And he goes, if he's dealing with this, no, I don't want him back out or whatever. He should be expelled or whatever. And like they're trying to decide what to do with him. And Heimerdinger is upset too. He's like, why did you mention magic? Like, because basically the kid was going to get a slap on the wrist, but now he mentioned magic and things could get worse for him. But yeah, Mel is she's someone like you would think something a little bit like Game of Thrones. She's kind of manipulating a couple of the other counselors, So there's one older guy who's, I guess he has an eye for or something. Basically, she charmed this guy and like gave him a gift that basically belongs to a child, and made it sound like it's a special gift, and this only like the most brilliant of minds can solve this like riddle of this little box. And like, yeah, basically like the guy's an idiot and she knows it, and she's kind of manipulating him. So like whatever her vote is, she looks at him to get the same vote, so it kind of plays in her favor because they want to give this guy Jace a chance. And basically they're going to expel him. This is the offer, to expel him and leave him in the custody of his parents. And basically, so you're all the work you've been doing is going to be, it's no more. You're not welcome in Pentos anymore, and sure as shit not in the school. But like you could go do your family trade or whatever it is. And like even the mother came up to speak for him, and she leaves out the magic part, which saved her life. And you could see like where her fingers were black. Apparently they had to be amputated, and she got like these metal kind of fingers in place. And yeah, when they get back home, like you see Jace is upset. He's like, "What the hell, Mom?" He goes, "Magic saved your life. It saved both of our lives, and you won't even get my back." She's like, "I want to make sure you're going to be alive. You're going to be okay. You're not in prison, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "I'm going to find another way. If family members can't even stand by my side," he goes, "I'll find someone who will." And he's pissed, and he's kind of destroyed too by all of this. I'm trying to think when we get back to the underground, because shit starts to move forward now. And at this point,
because after the kid hits the ground and whatnot, Vander goes down there and talks with the kids and everything, make sure everybody's okay. And
back at the evil lab, Silco has that Deckard injected with that, or gives them the potion, and we see Deckard start to turn.
Yeah, he manipulates the kid because the kid doesn't want to take the serum. He's like, sometimes we have to do something more. We have to be more. Otherwise, we're going to stay where we are and blah, blah, blah. He plays like a head trip with the kid. So the kid ends up drinking the stuff, and he starts, you see him like he's starting to mutate, and his eye turned in like the same thing like with the mouse and all that. Yeah, it was pretty crazy what was going on. Like he's one arm starts to get really buff and big, but we don't see the full transformation. We just see kind of like a bit of it. And Silco and the doctor are like fascinated by it, and like, oh shit. So yeah, we cut to
will he survive long enough?
Yeah. The doctor, he's very Fauci like, we'll say.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, you're not a good character. But yeah, so we cut back to Vander in his bar, and Powder sitting at the bar, and the jukebox plays, and it's like it sounds like music that you'd hear out of like the 50s, like really like nice kind of Motown-ish kind of music is playing, and you could see like he's kind of being like that fatherly figure to Powder, and trying to cheer her up a little bit too, and you could sense like the vibe, but he's got to go. He needs to go talk to Benzo, and he goes over to his place. And as he does, they kind of set it up where someone's going to be going down. So I'm sorry. Yeah, there was something I forgot with the enforcers, with the one with the raspy voice, the kind of lead enforcer one. She's reprimanding the Asian guy, like, "How dare you go down there?" Because she heard about what happened at the bar, and he hit the thing in the fire and all that shit. And she's like, you went down there without me, and you're stirring up shit. Like, you could have just ruined everything. And as she's yelling at him, because he goes like, "Vander, now if he wants to step up, he could." And then you see like that tube thing pop up. She goes, maybe there still is hope. Maybe he'll calm down or whatever. And so she goes to open it, and then that's it. We have a cut of what's going on. Basically, Vander, he contacted her, and he's going to be sort of ratting someone out, is what it looks like, or he's going to be giving them somebody. And how the episode goes, you see Vi is sitting in Benzo's place, and she's waiting, like she's in the back room, she's waiting because she knows like the enforcers are coming, because Vander has words with her saying like, "Listen, you can't be doing what you're doing, like things are going to be getting worse," and took her back to the bridge where the parents died. And like we've done this before. This is why I'm not having an all-out war with them, because a lot of good people died. And he goes, your parents did all this stuff. You know what happened. And she's kind of like, what the hell are we going to do? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Got to think of something. And then, then that encounter happened at the bar with the Asian one. And then, like, you know, we're fast forward back to where we are now. Sorry, I jumbled it a bit.
It sets it all up in this episode. Yeah. That's all this is all built in like a 40-minute episode too, by the way.
There's also something that happens in this episode. So Jace and that kid Victor, the one who has like a limp, Victor comes and he decides he wants to help Jace because he wants to see, you know, like I think he has like an agenda.
Yeah, Victor basically, when they're going through the apartment and they took all of his belongings. Victor is the assistant to Heimerdinger, the little guy who's been around for 307 years, the professor. He's his assistant, and they're having a conversation. And as they're having a conversation, Victor's looking through the notes of Jason. He goes, "This stuff looks like it could actually work." And Heimerdinger's like, "This is very dangerous stuff. Like, we're not supposed to be going near it, but." Yes, he is a brilliant mind. This, you know, Jace is a very smart individual, but it's a shame we're gonna have to destroy all of his belongings, all everything that he had. And as you know, he's putting something in its place. One of the blue gems is there in one of these kind of contraptions like Jace was working on, and he puts it on a shelf. But Victor's like, no, this looks like it could work. So we cut back to Jace, and he's in his apartment, and there's a giant hole that was blown out, and Jace has nothing left. He looks like he's ready to just off himself. He's looking down at the floor below him, and like he's ready to throw himself off the balcony is what it looks like. And because he's like, his family's not there for him. His life's work is gone. He doesn't know yet that they were about to destroy it, but they confiscated it all, and he's not allowed to work on it. So he's super pissed, and he's like, what the hell am I going to do? And he's getting a bad moment, basically, thinking about
losing his title, basically. You know, I mean, he's losing everything. He just became street trash,
basically. So as he's thinking about this, you know, Victor had stopped him. Like, he said something. He's like, what are you doing here? And they start having a conversation. He's like, I've been flipping through your notes. He goes, by the way, they're all signed at the bottom. It's a little egotistical. Don't you think? Every page? And he goes, oh, so you're here to insult me on top of destroying my work and everything? He's like, no. Actually, I want to talk to you about this because this looks like it could work. And they start to talk. And as they're talking, they're kind of like, you know, when you first like encounter someone who ends up being like a best friend type of thing, you just start clicking on everything regarding the science and what they were doing. And he's like, well, wait a minute, you work for Heimerdinger. Like, isn't he against this? He goes, yes, but this is brilliant work. This is stuff that could change the world. This is revolutionary stuff. So as they're talking more and more, they start to bond and like they're using the chalkboard. They're coming up with, like, you can see like they're connecting now, and Victor wants to help him in a bigger way. So as they're talking, he goes, yeah, but it's a shame though. All your stuff's about to be incinerated. He's like, what?
On your research.
He's like, what do you mean? Because that's my life's work. He goes, what the hell? He's like, but he goes, it's locked up in Heimerdinger's office right now. He goes, the only way to get to it is if you have the keys. And he pulls out the keys in his hand. He goes, which I have. He's like, no.
Not all those keys, man. That was hilarious.
Yeah, it was great. And Jason's like, no. I'm going to be in bigger trouble if we go there. He's like, listen, sometimes we got to make a leap. Sometimes we got to do this, you know? And he kind of convinces him. So they're basically about to break into the Heimerdinger's office. So they're going to wait at night and do that. But yeah, we cut back to Vi, and she's basically waiting for the enforcers to take her away because she thinks that Vander maybe routed her out or whatever. Like, you're giving her up basically because they need to end what's going on. Like, she's being very noble. She's almost like, she's like, all right, yeah, like, it's not Vander's fault, it's our fault, what happened and all that. So yeah, as like the door opens, we don't see who it is, and her eyes open up, and you know, the start of episode 3, we're there, and the door opens up, and it's Vander with with Benzo, and she's like, "Well, what are you doing here?" He's like, "Listen," he goes, "You're a great kid, and the enforcers are coming." She's like, "Oh, I know." Like she's ready to give herself up. He's like, "No, you don't understand." She goes, "You gotta protect Powder. You gotta protect the family." He's like, "You're a great kid," and he holds her by the face. She's like, "What are you talking about?" And you hear like the enforcers are coming. He grabs her and throws her into the back room and locks the door. And she's like, "What the hell?" She gets up off the floor and she's banging on the door as the enforcers come in. Now it's the lead enforcer, the woman with the voice like that, the Asian dude, and a couple guys outside. And as they're talking, the Asian dude tries to cut past Vander to open up the door. And the old woman's like, she goes, "Oh, is that gift wrapped for me?" And he cuts in front. He's like, "Could you give a guilty man one last smoke?" And he's like, the Asian guy's like looking at him like, "What are you talking about?" And the lead enforcer grabs him and tells him like to get back. She walks up to him and kind of like almost whispers it like, "What are you doing? I'm not taking you in, Vander." And he's like, "No, it's all right. I'm guilty. I'm the one who did it." She's like, "If I need to take you in," she goes, "this whole underground is gonna fall apart. They respect you. They trust you. You know." Because she knows there are other factions down there that are way worse, like Silco and these other groups. So he's like, "No, I got to do it." She's like, are you kidding me?" He's like, "They need their pound of flesh on the upper side there." So she's being reluctant. She doesn't want to bring him in. But if that's what he's doing, he's sacrificing himself, being, more noble than anyone else. She's like, "You're going to be locked away for a long time." He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to have to deal with it." She doesn't want to bring him in, but the Asian guy's all excited too, because again, he cut some kind of deal as well, which we find out very soon. So as it's happening, Vi's pounding on the door. They're all ignoring her. Benzo's not opening it, but he hears it. He's like, "Listen, Benzo will take my place. He's good with the books. People will listen to him. They trust him. He's going to be in charge while I'm gone. He's a good man." And she kind of agrees to it. So as they're about to go out there, you hear something like on the outside street. So Vi, she heard something too. She runs over to like the little window and she's looking up and she sees, like, they pan out. There was like gunfire, screams. They pan out. You see blood all over the street, and the lead enforcer with the raspy voice, she's on the floor dead. Her eye is like all open, and like it was like a massacre what just happened. She's like, "What the hell's going on?" She's trying to scream for help. She's locked in this room, and you see the outside of the street. Vander's got the handcuffs on him. Benzo's standing there, and the Asian dude. And there's like green smoke and shit around. It's like the atmosphere is really good. It's like kind of like horror movie-esque the way that they shot it. And you start to see someone coming out from the smoke. And it's Silco, the guy with the eye. And Benzo's like, "You piece of shit." Like, he's all angry. He knows who he is. He's like, "You did this. You orchestrated this." And as he kind of steps forward, Vander's like, "No, don't." And Silco's like, "You're always one that speaks too soon." And he goes, "And you're always stepping in the wrong place." And as Benzo's stepping forward, you just see this like flash, something like just runs by and takes out Benzo, and like blood hits the glass. What's her name? Vi sees it from underneath. She starts screaming, and Vander's like, "No!" He falls on the floor on his knees. The Asian dude's like, What are you doing? This is not what it's supposed to happen." He's all upset. He sees, his boss is dead. The other men are on the floor, all dead.
Like, Lando, this isn't the deal.
Yeah. And Silco hands him a bag of coins. He goes, "The deal's changed." And he throws it at him, and like a coin falls in the blood, literally blood money. And like he doesn't know what to do. And Deckler, that kid with the blonde hair, you see him like part of like what he is, and he kind of gives a head nod, and that kid, he grabs Vander and punches him in the face. Not with the big grotesque arm, but with the other one. But with one shot, knocks this big dude Vander down, and you see him in slow motion, the saliva, and then he hits the street, and the blood hits the floor, and Vi screaming. You don't know if he's dead or alive. And he looks knocked out though. And the big, the kid, he grabs him by the collar, and Silco says, "Yeah, bring him." And he drags Vander. So Silco has Vander now, and so after all this kind of went down, and everyone's gone, the little black kid Echo, he unlocks the door. He was hiding and he saw everything, and like he runs over and he tells her, he's crying, and she grabs him, and he's hugging her, and he's like, "I saw it all. Oh, wait, they slaughtered Benzo," and like the kid's breaking down because that's his father basically, his foster father, and you can see they're both really emotional and all that stuff. And he's like, "What about Vander? Is he dead?" And the kid goes, "No, they took him." And he goes, "Where'd they take him?" And then they cut back to the little apartment, and the other three are there. Like they're getting ready to go to war, basically. They don't know what's going on, but they think there's going to be a big war between the top side and the underground. So the kids are being kids. Like, yeah, like I'm trying to find good weapons and stuff. And Powder's working on her little bombs. And Vi, she comes in and like, "Where have you been?" She's like, "We got to go." He's like, What's going on?" They took Vander. Like she's kind of breaking it down a little bit. And like they're all excited. Like there was something like I've never seen before. Her hand shaking. This thing took out these the enforcers like in like one strike. Basically, this thing is super scary and deadly because we need to save Vander. He's in danger, So found out from Echo where he is. So they're all getting ready, and Powder wants to come along, and Vi says, "You can't." And she's like, "What do you mean?" Like, she has a little suitcase like with her bombs and stuff ready to go. And he's like, "You can't. This is too dangerous." And hands her favorite toy, the one that when she brought her to the rooftop that was tangled up on like on the electrical cords and stuff. Like she had gotten it and she gave it to her sister, and like like almost like a teddy bear, kind of like a gift, basically. Like take care of this for me, and you got to be safe. You got to stay here. Like trying to be a big sister, and she's like all heartbroken. She's like, "This is way too dangerous." So she takes the other two, and they're going to where Silco's place is, his little factory, and like it's a big setup how everything is. Because before they get there, you see Vander, like he's coming to, and he's like on this catwalk above everything, and you can see like this kind of factory. And Silco goes, like basically, like what happened there, what he's doing. He goes, it's a shame we always have to go the violent way in order to make proper change. Because with Silco, his whole thing, he had like a brother kind of bond with Vander.
Yeah, at the very beginning of episode 3, we see Silco being drowned by Vander.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we didn't know that at first. You see a little bit later in the episode because it's silhouetted, but you kind of get a glimpse. But yes, that's a good point too. Because as like the opening of 3 was really solid because it's Silco in his mind frame of what he's thinking, because it's like he's floating in water and he's saying something about it that it's like it kind of holds you, it carries you, there's something unique about it, and it's like a rebirth, stuff along those lines. And it cuts, and you see like there's like a flash of light, and you see kind of like instead of this beautiful water and him with both his eyes normal and everything, there's like a cut over that eye. We don't know exactly what happened, and then the water's not beautiful. It's like sewage. It's gross. And he's being drowned, and like by obviously a big guy. And you just kind of see like the silhouette. So later in the episode, it flashes back to that.
And he talks about how it gets in his veins, and it becomes part of him.
The river toxins, yes.
The river toxins and all that. Yeah, it's really good. Like I said, the writing and stuff. By the way, Tommy, yeah, feel better, brother. Yeah, he had to get going. But yeah, so as Silco's kind of having a conversation with Vander, he's coming to, but he's still on his ass. He's like, what are you doing? Like, you're destroying everything. He's like, Silco wanted them to win the war, basically. He goes, what about our vision? We wanted to unite the entire underground, the city of Zorn. We wanted the nation of Zorn. He goes, we wanted something more. He goes, we used to fight for something. We used to have a cause. He's like, I'm not that man anymore. He's like, because he's so pissed that he's not fighting for everyone under there. He's only fighting for like these kids or in kind of his little circle just to kind of keep peace. He's like, you made
even
a
the
deal
fact
with
that
them.
he wants to get along with them. That
Yes.
he's kind of got the same idea as the kid.
Yeah.
Why are we just here and tolerating it? We should stand, and that's where they've been building up. And
we should
here
stand
he
up.
is, the man that's saying the same thing the kids are saying.
Right. Because Silco, he wants the people above to be fearful of them and to never come down there again. Like, this is ours. This is our area. This is our territory. We're going to take charge of everything. And he's upset that Vander wasn't with him anymore, because at one point they were. But what happened on the bridge from, again, in the past, and that episode 1 and all the people who died, and that he had to be a parent, because it's about the younger one. It's not about us anymore. It's about the new generation. We can't have these kids living like we did. We struggled. We're fighting all this stuff. What is the point of this? This is all horrible stuff. So, we need to make peace. We need to do all this. So you have, the good and the bad, essentially. And Silco's not hearing any of it. He's basically, we need to rule. They need to be afraid of us. And if they step foot down here, we're going to have our army. We're going to have our war, and we'll take over up there if we have to. You could see where he's going, where his mindset is.
Very Magneto-esque, if you will.
Kind of, yeah. And like a mafia boss who wants to take over an entire city, So basically, yeah. So he wants to teach Vander a lesson, so to speak, but he also wants him off the board. So, because Silco's been looking for the kids as well. So, they drag Vander to this chair and basically lock him to this chair. And so as the kids are now arriving, they sneak in through the roof. They come in through the window. No one's around, or they go through the catwalk and they see Vander. There's a sliding door and it's open, and so they go in there, and he's coming to again. Apparently, they beat him up a little bit more. And he was like, he's like, Vi, what are you doing here? She's like, we come to save you. And he goes, how'd you get in here? She goes, oh, it was real easy. We came in through the roof, and it was, as she said it, they both realize it's a trap. And you just hear clapping. Yeah. And down the catwalk, you see Silco. And he's like, oh, look how lovely this is. And he's like, did you guys, and then as he's talking, you see the rest of his kind of gang kind of pop up. He goes, did you hear about the great Vander? He's actually a coward, and he ran out of town with his little street rats, his little darlings. So basically, Silco's ready to just slaughter them all. They were using Vander as bait. And as they're there, Vi's she brought the metal boxing gloves basically that Vander had. And she turns over to Milo and goes, get him out of there, since he could pick the locks. So Milo's on the floor trying to get the locks. He's got 2 on his legs and 2 on the arms. And the fact is she goes, we got to find another way to get out of here. So he's like, I'll find a way. He's looking at the wall. He sees a weak point. He's got a pipe and he's trying to break the wall. She ties on the boxing glove, the metal ones. She goes out on the catwalk. And the shot was great too, because you have so you see that Decker kid is there, and he's spitting up the pink shit. He's human. He's not a monster anymore. You could see he's really messed up again though. And so he's off to the side. You have a couple of other gang members, and the really big one that almost looks like the one from Moby Dick, Queequeg. He's got the tattoos on his face and stuff. He comes over, really big fat guy with a knife, and you can tell he's got no qualms about killing whoever he has to kill. His boss tells him to kill a kid, he's going to do it. So he's on the catwalk. He's got the knife in his hand, and the guy is 2 feet taller than Vi, and
5 times her size, bro.
Yeah, the guy's massive. He's 400 pounds or something compared to maybe 110, 120 at best. And she's looking up at him. She's not scared at all. The shot is awesome. How they did it from her back view, and he's looking down, and Silco gives the head nod, go ahead. So he goes to slash at her. She's a true boxer. She kind of weaves out of the way. It hits the metal, and you see the spark. So she parries and then gives him an uppercut in slow motion that knocks him out in one punch. And Silco's like, what the and you can kind of see Vander from the distance, that's my girl. But he's like, hurry up, Milo, get me out of this. So she starts to take out the other little goons who are coming towards her. And to her credit, she's a good like bare knuckle boxer type of character. Like he taught her well. So yeah, she's taken out a bunch of them, and you see like the that one Indian looking chick, the one that kind of looks like Rhea Ripley, Svika. She was with Vander, but she got so pissed that she had that confrontation in the bar with him that you see that she's with Silco, and she was going to step up, and he goes, no. Like he pulls her aside, like, no. He goes, maybe we'll have someone else here, and has that kid Declan drink that shit again. And as he drinks it, he starts to mutate, and they're all like, holy shit. Vi's is kind of shitting her pants a bit. Vander's like giving confidence to Milo. He's like, take your time, take a deep breath. He gets one of the shackles off. He's like, good, but they see this kid transform, like, shit, hurry up. So she jumps in the air and is gonna come down like with like a hammer fist on top of this mutated kid, and just he completely like he's so fast, his hand comes out and grabs her by the throat.
Oh yeah.
And Vander's screaming like, don't do anything there. I'm the one you want. Take me out. Let the kids go. And Silco goes, that's not how that works, or something along those lines. And that Declan kid throws her down the catwalk and like ragdolled her. And one of her gauntlet things comes off. She's got one in her hand. She's like, she didn't know what to do. And she kind of backs back into the room with Vander. And that kid's moving closer to them. But as this is happening, Powder, they had cut back to Powder during all this stuff. And there's some shit going down with her too. She's having like a breakdown because she hates that she's by herself there. She's screaming. She's kind of almost having like a tantrum, but something else is wrong with this kid. Like how upset she's getting, and she's gonna slam her box down with all the bombs. But those blue gems are in there, and we saw what it did in that apartment. Once it because it's unstable. She doesn't realize this, so she kind of, instead of slamming it down, she just it drops out of her hands. And those crystals hit the floor and roll. And as they do, you see the sparks and stuff, but they kind of stopped. And she's looking at them like, that's the same type of light she saw before that explosion happened in the apartment. So, she puts two and two together. Oh, these are perfect for bombs. So she puts them into her little makeshift bombs. And she's like, I'm going to go save them. And so she's on her way there. And as all this is going down, like she's climbing and, she's like at the outside of the building as like the fat kid's breaking the wall down. Vi just closed and locked the door. So the big dude who ran towards him, the Declan kid, he ran towards them all monstered out, and he's trying to break in. And you have Powder's on the outside of it. She's looking in. She from her vantage point, she could see the side of where that kid Declan is behind the door. She can't see them inside the room, and she knows that they're in there though. So she's like, "This is my chance. I could save them." So she sets her little dancing monkey there with the symbols. She goes, you're my only hope. You're going to be able to save them. Don't fail me. Because like all of her inventions usually kind of blow up in her face. So she sets the monkey down with like 3 or 4 of those gemstones. And as it's waddling over, that Declan kid looks down at it like, what the hell's going on? Like, what is this? Like, he's like all monstered out. And the monkey stops, and you see the symbols are all like ready to, like, they're as wide as his arms could go. Like his next step is going to basically hit it. But we cut, and as this is going on, we're seeing Jace and Victor trying to break into Heimerdinger's office, and they're at night. They got a little light on, and they're trying to unlock it and all that. And that's when Mel, that other counselor chick, she goes, "What are you doing?" And like they're kind of playing dumb, like, "Oh," Victor's like, "Oh, I thought this was my room. Oh, wow." He made up a story. She's like, "I know what you're trying to do." And Jason's like, "Listen, we know this could work. We could stabilize it." She's like, "But you earlier when we were in the council, you said that you couldn't, and it was a failure." She goes, No. We've been working." And he goes, "Wait a minute, that's Victor. You work with Heimerdinger." And he's like, "Well," and Chase goes, "No, that's my partner. He's my partner now in this." She goes, "What do you mean?" She goes, "We figured it out. We know how to stabilize it." So she's kind of debating, and as like a guard's coming around, like, they're short on time, and basically she gives them like one night or one day. You just have that. She goes, "Make it work. If you can't, then we're in trouble or whatever, and you're banished. Both of you are going to be banished." So they looked at each other like, "Oh shit." They get the door open. She distracts the guard, and as they're in there, they find his contraption. They both work out this thing, and they do like a little makeshift thing where you see like these ruins, and they put their little gemstone in the middle that's there, and they have to crank it up all the way is what it looks like from what their work is. They figured it out, but they need more juice. So as they put it a little bit, and you see like the windows blow out, but instead of blowing out into the street, they kind of come sucked back in. And they're like, oh my God, this is fascinating. Like they're not scared. Like you could see like scientists that are just figuring out an equation or whatever. And so they amp it up a little bit more. And as they're amping it up because of the lightning, and you could see from on the street, other enforcers like, we need to get someone in there. So they're trying to come in through the doors. They lock themselves in. Like, we're almost done. We almost figured it out. They're cranking it up all the way. Heimerdinger's there with the guards. They're ready to bust the door open. As that's going on, you see, like, again, the little monkey, it hits, and you see the explosion that happens is
Felt
massive.
like very much Weird Science, dude.
Yeah, oh, it's crazy. So because like she filled that little monkey up with like 3 or 4 of those crystals, they start shooting all over the place. Massive explosions. The door goes flying off the hinges, and as it ricochets, those things ricochet. You see it hit the fat kid in the head. His goggles come off. It looks like he's killed instantly. Hits the floor. The Milo kid, the pipe goes through his chest. He's kind of like he's holding on to it. As he looks up, the ceiling collapses on top of him. Vi's buried by the door. Vander, he got out of the chair, but he's buried too a little bit. Some of the rubble's on him. And Powder goes flying backwards, and she's falling into the river. And she's smiling like it worked, like the explosion worked. She can't see what happened on the inside of the room. She only sees the outside part where the bad guys were. And as that happened, the explosion goes down the catwalk, and Svika, that Indian-looking chick, she pushes Silco out of the way, and as she does, her left arm gets incinerated, completely blown off.
And the art to that, man, the shadowing, the way they did that,
dude, it was beautiful. So yeah, as like that happened, yeah, you saw like Silco's kind of like he's knocked into another part. You kind of see the aftermath, and that kid who's mutated, he gets up, like he's not really phased, like he got a little injured, but nothing really. He's walking down the catwalk. Vander's coming too, and he sees the kids all around him. The fat one looks like he's clearly dead. The other one buried under the rubble. He looks like he's pretty much gone. Vi, but then Vi starts kind of coughing, like he thought she was out. So he pushed himself up. He gets the rubble off. As he's getting up, Silco, he comes out of the back, like he just got up as well, and he basically tells like that the blonde-headed kid who's mutated to go after him, go kill them. So he runs towards them, and Vander, he does like his makeshift. He grabbed like the handles of like the chair or whatever. He straps them on his hand, and he goes off on the other guys who are still alive. He takes them out in like one or two punches each. He pushes one of them off the catwalk, and he's up to the big purple kid there. The kid is all mutated. Grabs his arm, locks it up, punches him in the solar plexus. You see the purple shit come out of his mouth, but that kid's too strong, and it looks like he almost like breaks his collarbone. Like he comes down on him. He flips him over. Like Vander's like he's no match next to this monster kid basically. And he gets back up though. Like he's not finished with them, and he's ready to take him out. And you see Silco, he stabs Vander in the back, and like the monster kid's kind of just standing there watching this as Silco's like, he's got one up on him. Vander turns around real quick, grabs him by the throat, like he's ready to snap his neck, but he hesitates. You see the blood coming out of his mouth, and then they cut, and you see like when Vander was basically strangling him under the water, and Silco with his kind of narration stuff too. You do anything to survive at that point, and you see him kind of reach over, and Vander had a knife that was on his waist back when they were when they were younger, and he took it out and he slashes Vander in the arm. This is why Vander has he's got like a leather strap thing over his arm so you can't see, but it's a reminder to him. Silco slashed him in the arm to get out because basically Vander was going to kill him. Someone who was like his brother when they were younger, over all the shit that was going on, right? This power struggle. Silco wanted to have this war, whatever. He's still trying, and it mirrors again what's happening now. And he's like, see, he goes, you never understood it. He goes, the hell that you put me through with all that, the poison and the toxins that seeped into the, like from the previous episode, what he had said to him. But it goes, at this point though, when he sees that he went crazy and he's, taking out, or trying to take out what he could, he goes, I knew you always still had it in you. But he goes, it's a shame. And he stabs him in the stomach. And like he pushes him off the catwalk, and Vander falls off into like a pile of like, because the big explosion, everything's kind of all over the place, of that purple shit. He lands like in on it, and he kind of like, his eyes like flickering open, like he's trying to stay conscious, and his fingers reaching over to one of the vials, but they can't see it from where they are, and they look back and they see the girl still alive, and Silco goes, he tells the blonde-headed kid, go kill her. So he runs down in there, and as he's almost in the room, you just hear like a monster roar. And Vander, he got to the drink. He's on the catwalk, and he's gigantic. His whole upper half, he's like this beast of a character. And he grabs that kid, lifts him up. You can't see from this vantage point, but he snaps the kid's neck, or he squishes his head or something, because the kid's dead now. His arms are just like dangling there. He throws the body to the floor. They get the door off of Vi, and she's looking at him like scared. And he looks back. He sees Silco. He's about to get away, and he's in that position. Do I go after Silco and kill him, or do I get her to safety? He chooses to save Vi. So he grabs her, jumps out the window as another explosion happens in that place because everything's on fire. And you see him land. He lands on his back, and like she's in his arms basically as the smoke's clearing. But back with Jace and Victor, they got the thing to work. So then the doors open up. You see, instead of an explosion, everything is like they're floating in the air, and you see all this blue magic and shit. And Heimerdinger was like, "Oh my god, you got it to work! How? What?" But he was, just because you could do it doesn't mean you. And he gets cut off, and that girl Mel comes in and goes, "I think this should be for the council to decide. If they actually got magic to work, and this could benefit us. Let's see where this goes, and we're gonna have to have a big meeting about it." So that's like where their kind of story goes on this episode 3.
And when he calls it magic, Jace corrects him and says hex tech.
Hex tech, yes. He goes, it's hex tech. That's what it is. It's not to scare people either. So he gives it a new name, but it's because they're also working with science and magic. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense. He did a good job with that. But we cut back to Vi, and she's on top of him. Like he cradled her, and he took the that hard blunt blow to the his body hitting the fucking pavement basically, and he's still kind of there, and she holds him like, oh my god, Vander, are you okay? And he goes, make sure you keep Powder safe. And then his head goes back, and the lights go out of his eyes. He's gone. She's screaming, her arms all like broken or dislocated or whatever, from the rubble and everything else. And you see Powder comes around the corner, and she's all happy, like, oh my god, did you see what I did? Did you see? And Vi turns back and goes, what? This was you? And she goes, what? What do you mean? And she looks, she sees Vander's mutated like bodies there, lifeless. She sees the goggles of the fat kid, and she starts having like a breakdown. She's, no, I was trying to help. She starts crying. She's flipping out. And Vi goes, this is your fault. You're a goddamn jinx. And she slaps her in the mouth. She hits her so hard, she falls on the floor, and she grabs her by the face, like, this is you. Like, she's infuriated that her sister was responsible for this and the death that happened. And she's holding her by the face, and her blood hits the wrappings on her hand, and she starts spazzing out, like, oh my god, like, what am I doing? This is my sister. Like you could see it in her head. And Powder's crying on the floor, can't stop crying. The other one's like, she needs a minute. It's like she walks away from her. And Powder's screaming, don't leave me. She's on the floor crying her head off. And Vi, she's trying to make sense of this. She's leaning against the wall. She turned the corner not to even see her sister. Like, she needs a minute. This is crazy. She just lost her second father, basically. Her sister's responsible for this shit. She's trying to figure it out. And as that's happening, Silco pops up. And he sees a little girl. The back is like towards her or whatever. He can't see her face, and she's just crying nonstop. And he walks over with a knife in his hand, and Violet kind of sees. And she's like, "Oh my god!" She goes to run towards her sister to go save her, and you see out of the shadows one of the enforcers grabs her and knocks her out with like a chloroform rag. It's the Asian dude, and he's like, if he sees you, he's gonna kill you. He's looking for you, and he drags her into the shadows. Basically, she blacks out, and you just see Silco. He's standing there, and he kneels down, and you see like a couple of his other people who are still alive. The dude who looks like Queequeg with the tattoos on his face. He's holding the Indian looking chick, Asvika, who, you know, her arm's gone, and like she's out cold. There's a couple of others just standing there, and they don't know, like they're looking like in shock, like, is he about to kill this kid? And he kneels down. He goes, "Little girl, where's your sister?" And she looks up at him. He looks over. He sees like Vander's body there, or whatever. Like he's putting it together. Like, this kid's alone, and she lunges at him, and he falls down. He drops his knife, and she's like has her arms wrapped around his stomach. She's crying uncontrollably and goes, "She left me. She left me. She's not my sister anymore." And he puts his hand up. You see like the lightning going, the rain's going. Like, the atmosphere is fantastic, and it looks like he's about to like grab her and like do something bad, and he just slowly puts his hand on her and around her, and he goes, "It's okay. I have you. We're gonna make them all. We're gonna show them all. We're gonna show them all." And like he's taking her in, and you see like a close up of her eye. Like, she opens up her eye, and you see like it's just filled with water. She's crying. It's all bloodshot red, and the anger on you could see on the expression on her face. And they pan away, and you see he's cradling her. His guys are standing over him, and they keep panning out into like a really small kind of circle of, you know, and the music that's playing, the atmosphere is so perfect. It's so beautifully done. Oh, they did such a killer job with this. And your heart's breaking for that whole situation, and like what's gonna happen next? Where are they going? So that's how they ended episode 3. So we're going to be covering 4, 5, and 6 next week, but we get a time jump, and what's set up is pretty damn amazing, and what's kind of going on and what happened, because it's like about like 8 to 10 year time jump, I think it is, something like that. But we'll get into it, and you'll see where all these characters are and what had happened from the events of that night. It's pretty wild. So yeah, it's fantastic so far. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Trina, yeah, what are your thoughts on some of that?
Yeah, it was just great, fantastic storytelling. These episodes are over pretty quick, and they pack a lot in them, and it's just great, you know, storytelling. Like you get the backstories of these characters, and it's done in a way that it's very creative, but it's not overly done.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, that's a backstory. Cool. We know that now. And then it moves on to like the next part of the story, and the flow is perfect. And yeah, like just the art style and it's just beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, it's so great. Any thoughts where you think the characters might be going and what might be happening?
Well, from what I gather, by the end of episode 3, is that we've got a little villain origin story going on with Powder, and she's gonna be like Violet's nemesis. There's like we're gonna see a couple of different factions in the underworld. Just looking forward to seeing how it unfolds.
It's good stuff, yeah. And then when we get to the upper side there and all that, what happens is pretty big too. And what happens with Hex, the Hex Tech stuff.
Yes, I love that. I can't wait to see how that goes.
And they start to follow that. Remember the assistant Jace had, the little girl who's like part Asian or whatever?
Yes.
Caitlin, we follow her too, and where she kind of goes. And it's really interesting how they kind of weave all these stories. We find out more about Mel and her backstory, the black chick with the gold kind of tattoos and stuff.
Yep.
Black and white dress. And more of kind of what had happened and what basically Jace and Victor, what they've been up to in this 8 to 10 year jump. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah, Manless, you're right. Powder is Hunter's favorite.
It show is.
So yeah, excellent stuff. All around. The voice acting is top notch.
Yeah.
Vander, Silco. I don't think any character was off for me. Like everyone was like right on the money.
No, you're right.
I like the music mixed in too. When you have the cut scenes with the music,
Yes.
It all fits.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really great. And even like what do you call it? The Imagine Dragons, like their opening song, Enemy, like that is solid. I wasn't like I've heard some of their shit on the radio here and there. Like it fits so perfect with this series. And I know, yeah, I know they were hired specifically to do that. I think they did a couple of songs they said for their video games as well. In the past, so like, yeah, we wanted you to do the title track, and it works. It's great.
Yeah, I think it's great. Just really enjoyed this. I loved it.
I'm really glad. Yeah, because like I said, there's few things that we could really enjoy lately, and this is one like from beginning to end I loved.
Well, just the first 3 episodes. Look at how much story is in these 3 episodes, and again, they're like not even quite 40 minutes long, I think. And you get so much information just in the way it's drawn, the way it moves, it pulls you in.
Yep.
You care about these characters, then you get to see them all get exploded. It's like, wait a minute, what the hell? Like you didn't see that coming in the 3rd episode. Like that's not what you were thinking. Yeah,
there's a lot of death and crazy stuff that definitely happens on this. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think I could show this actually. Yeah, so here are some of the. Is this spoilerish? No, not really. Because we're gonna see this. We're gonna see these one of the characters more grown up. So here's like a group shot of some of the main characters here. So this is like I like how they did this because it makes a lot of sense too, to all these characters and where they are. So yeah, we have Mel. There's the chick with the black and white dress. There's Jace. This is actually this one's Caitlin. This is his assistant from the apartment with the time jump. So she actually becomes an enforcer, which is pretty interesting how they do that. And again, like where that character goes to is pretty cool. Here's Vander. There's Silco. There's Powder. I like that they did behind them. You could kind of see the ghost image of them a little bit bigger. But yeah, some cool stuff though. Like I said, the character designs are there. The painted style. Some of the behind the scenes shit is pretty damn amazing with this as well. So yeah, the Blu-ray's out right now. Shout Factory did it. So if you are looking for it, this is definitely something I highly recommend. I know there's a lot of people that they have certain over opinionated on shit. And in fact, even people who were guessing things or they thought was going to happen that does not happen in the series. So I'm happy that there's a ton of surprises. And like I said, 10 out of 10 for me. This is excellent stuff. But let me blow up this one too if it works.
In a world filled with shit, we get something good. And if you actually just shut up, and if you don't know when to shut up, I'll show you the look on my face. Literally, if you just would sit down and watch it and turn your brain off, if you can sit there and watch the woke ass crap that you watch on a daily basis and you love to complain, you're not going to like this show because it literally tells the story if you let it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very logical. It's very touching because it pulls you in, and there's just moments when I got, like I told you, Vinny, on season, I had a hard time getting through a couple of those episodes because of what was, what's in there later on.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
there's
emotional stuff for sure. It's powerful because you'll have amazing action sequences, and again, the first 3 episodes, we just got a taste of what we're going to be seeing. Because once we get to the next ones, there is a lot, like the directing, the action, the explosions, you name it. Like it's so damn good. But then you have like Game of Thrones type stuff going on, like on the upper class type stuff. So yeah, like again, look at this atmosphere. Everything that he created, every single shot looks like a masterpiece painting on top of it.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's very influential for artists across the board. Yeah, I mean, just really, really amazing stuff all around. So I can't say enough great things about this series. And I could see why a few people thought like season 2 gets a little heavy-handed with something in particular. Some might say girl power stuff. It's not. It makes sense to the story, and by the time you get to the last couple of episodes, how integral other things and other characters are to the overall story, and it's not what you think. It's not. A lot of people made an assumption of where it might be going, but yeah, no, they did a damn good job. Damn good job. So a tip of the hat to them. That's for sure.
Well, I have no idea what you're talking about, so I'll find out.
Yeah, I'm being very vague on purpose because I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where once you get there, that's why I said I can't wait to see your reactions.
Yeah.
But
that's why I'm specifically like choosing images to show, because if you just type something in, you're gonna have major spoilers, and I don't want to do that for you either. So but yeah, it's like I said, it's worth it going in blind. I honestly wouldn't even see the trailer.
I didn't. I went in 100% blind. All I was told, you told me it was really good. You were thinking about covering. I'm like, well, let me take a look, see, because again, Friday is the last Blue Bloods. They're closing the season finale. The series is over after 14 seasons, and I was going to start watching this then, but then I didn't. I was like, I hate this week to week crap. But yeah, the fact that I got through the first season and I was just like, man. It was there's just so much there. And then I had to watch it a couple different times. And there were bits and pieces I did miss. Like I told you, I missed her when I first watched it the very, very first time. I missed her losing her arm, because there's so much going on. And it's just, I missed it. But
Yeah, Trin, did you catch that with the one who saved Silco?
I don't know. I think I might have missed it.
She's the one that had words with Vander in front of the bar, in front of everybody. She had kind of like that bigger nose.
Yes.
I liked her voice acting too. Whoever portrayed her, she did a really good job.
Yeah, everybody's. It's funny because everybody who voiced these characters, they fit the way the characters look.
Mm-hmm. They really do.
Like that's well done.
It is. I was very surprised by a lot of it. And that guy who plays Jace, I always forget his first name. His last name's Alejandro, I believe. If anyone watched the show Lucifer, he's actually, like the kind of goofy-ish cop that was with the main chick, like they had a kid. He's the voice of Jace.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's him.
You can kind of see it when he starts to talk. You can see like his mouth, like the way that something about it, like they captured it. Like they did a really good job. I really liked his portrayal of the character too. Like there's really good stuff that they have in here. So, and this lead one is Haley Steinfeld, or the one from the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah.
She was in True Grit, the remake. Yeah, she does a damn good job with this character with Vi. So the girl who did the voice for Powder in the first 3 episodes, they only had her for the first 3 because it was younger and it was a younger voice. The next episodes 4 throughout the rest of the series is the brunette from Fallout, Ella Purnell.
Okay.
She does the voice for Powder Jinx. Yeah, she does the voice for her, and she does such a fantastic job. Like, if you thought, like, again, all the other characters fit perfectly with their voices, by the time they get to this one and you see her a little more grown up, holy shit, yeah. And she does Psycho really well. I was very surprised. So, yeah, like I said, stellar cast all around. Really good stuff. And, yeah. So, this was Vi on the catwalk, ready to kick some ass. before she gets her ass handed to her as well. But that's what I like too. These characters, they're not Mary Sue's at all. Like, she gets roughed up a lot. You know, she could take her hits, she could give them as well, but she's not invincible either. Like, this character, yeah, she takes a lot during the series, and really good shit though. So,
well, I mean, the whole Mary Sue thing, like, that really wouldn't come into play with these characters because they're already in game tough. You know what I mean? That would be like saying, expecting Chun-Li from Street Fighter to be weak.
right.
She's never weak.
Exactly. Yeah. These again, I thought they did such a great job because it's almost, I guess you get like an origin story with these characters, or
Yeah.
they gave their own thing, but the story that they end up weaving in the full tale is fantastic because I don't know what the premise of the game was. I thought maybe you do like little quests and you fight people or whatever. I don't know what the hell the thing is from the little bits I've actually seen, but this has so much more to it, and where they go with it's pretty incredible. So one of the few things I could say at such a high level that they did this, it's pretty stellar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I wanted to cover this like last year, but then I moved and then other shit was going on and everything. So I basically waited for season 2. I found out it was only going to be 2 seasons. I'm like, okay, well, this is perfect. Let's start hitting it. So, but yeah, it's something else. What's except at the box office? What's that?
What?
So she does Normal Woman very well, except at the box office. Okay. Well, I don't. But that, what's it? Haley Steinfeld, whatever her name is. Like, she's been in a bunch of stuff. But yeah, she does a great job. She's a singer too, from what I understand. But yeah. Anyway, excellent stuff all around. I know Tina Bojan was supposed to make it in here and she couldn't. She got work tomorrow, and she was pretty tired. But she said she absolutely loved what she's seen. So I know she said Mr. Bojan, he's seen the whole first season and really enjoyed it when it dropped, but he forgot a lot of it. So the two of them watched like the first 3 together, and yeah, they were again blown away. So super happy about that, and to hear that people have been enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, there's a lot that goes on, and very much looking forward to covering the next ones with everyone.
Yeah.
Hopefully Tony will be able to make it next week too, because I know he said he'll be free for I think the next couple of weeks. So yeah, hopefully he'll be able to jump in because I know he started watching them, and yeah, so we'll give you guys more next week. Friday we'll do the crazy shit as always. Like we'll do world kind of current events and a little mix of other stuff. But yeah. Oh, hold on. Let me pull this up for those who. So these are the actresses that play the characters. So there you go. So there's actually 2 hotties playing, Vi and Jinx, and they do a great job. So there you go. There they are. And then a lot of people are like, oh yeah, they're probably all ugly, or they're this, they're that, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Not that it should matter. I mean,
it shouldn't.
Voice actress, and again, I haven't found flaw in even the robot guy. Like, I like his voice. The robot
the counselor guy.
Yeah.
I think they handle everything so great. But yeah, very much looking forward to the next ones. We almost did more than that. I was thinking about doing just the season and do the next season, but breaking it down like this, I think is a little bit better. We can get more
it just depends on how you feel like going, because there's so much in each episode. You darn know if you do one episode at it, and some of the ones upcoming, as you know, because you've already seen it as I have too. There's a couple of them where we could probably go an hour on just the episode that's 40 minutes long.
Because we're going to get into other stuff and heavier things too. So we'll have more of a back and forth. I was basically, sorry if I got a little too wordy. I wanted to break down the episodes fully for
no, I felt bad for interrupting you. It was just that you kind of, and again, it was just, you were going off too, like you said, you just watched the third. I'd watched 1, 2, and 3. You were spot on, and I just wanted to throw in those couple of cliff notes because that was it, brother. You were spot on.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad.
And I enjoyed the hell out of it, and so glad that you shared it with all of us to check it out, and I knew nothing about it. Like I said, I jumped in like you. I don't know anything about the video games or anything, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. That I watched it over and over. I mean, I even, Frank even was watching it upstairs on his TV, and he tweeted out about it because he was so excited about it. His plasma TV doesn't like it, but he'll be fine. He's a dog. But
Those wiener dogs are amazing, man.
It's one of them things, man. It's a very good series. When you look at what we've had for entertainment, and when you can't find anything, I just go back and watch the stuff we grew up with because that's what I'd rather watch. But this is something I was very glad to see. We should have had a lot of this from 2020 on with everything that had happened. I had hoped we would have gotten a lot more projects like this out and about, you would think.
Yeah.
And sadly we didn't, but it's very good to see that this went. It's sad that it's only 2 seasons, but I understand why.
Yeah.
But maybe again, this is what we've been waiting on, right? We keep hearing our friends saying they think the culture's changing and maybe we're fine. And again, instead of taking this, because they could have took this a whole different direction and completely destroyed it.
Oh, absolutely. It would have been so easy. Oh, yeah.
I was more shocked that the garbage of today really is not in this. There is, this was good, but there's none of that. Like, it is just good. If you let it play through and listen to the story.
I will give a spoiler, but without saying characters' names. You will see lesbians in this series, but they're hot. So I'm okay with that.
But lesbians have existed since the beginning of time as the Greeks,
Well, it's natural how they do the story anyway. Like it makes sense to the characters who end up kind of.
I mean, okay, the way that they wrote this stuff, like it again, it's about the writing. If it's in the writing, and again, I could see if maybe that's not in the game and somebody gets pissed off about it or what. Again, we're talking video games and an animated cartoon here, people.
And a fictional world. It's all fantasy.
Yes, you shouldn't. We're not writing any biography on the true life of.
Right.
So, I mean, a little bit. And again, if this is their opinion, but I don't know. I didn't see what woke truly is in this at all. Are there some girl power moments? Of course there are. You've got sisters here, you dumbasses. I'm sorry.
But it's like Trina said, though, too. It's the same like with Chun-Li. She's not a character you're going to see as weak.
No.
She's going to kick ass,
No, but I mean, how are you not going to not have a little bit of girl power moments in this with the younger sister, with sisters, period. Again, the older sister trying to cuddle and help the younger one who just blew up all their friends and killed their father, which you didn't see coming. So that's how you don't Johnston it. But yeah, man, again, it's if you want to complain, you're going to complain. That's just it. Too many people just love to bitch, moan, and complain because they've been doing it for decades. And now they think that's the way it goes. If you truly enjoy, and again, I'm a big art guy. I love art. We used to go to art shows and do all that kind of stuff because we were poor and that was the stuff we could do.
Yeah.
And again, I can identify with very many characters in this series.
Yeah. There's Adam's piece all clear and big. I found it on accident. Oh, look. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the art direction is just jaw dropping.
I just took the picture from my TV, obviously, and again, that was just because it's so beautiful, and it's just like, man,
it's incredible. But yeah, see, Captain Alice is right too. Yeah, if they're hot, we can overlook it. Yeah, that's
well. I will say, I mean, obviously, I haven't seen any of those episodes yet. I've only seen 1, 2, 3. But if they are putting that stuff in and it's not part of the game, that bothers me because why? Why does that need to be put in?
Right.
And this is a video game movie series, so its target audience is the younger crowd. So yeah, I do have a bit of a problem with that.
Yeah, there's slight adult stuff that they have in here a bit, but it's also, like I said, it's almost like Game of Thrones ish, where characters are manipulating or using other characters, stuff like that happens. But again,
keep in mind, this isn't for kids though. It's flat out for adults, which it does tell you in the
disclaimer thing, the opening.
Descriptions.
Yeah, like I said, never played the games, don't know shit about them. just going into it.
I didn't even
For
know it was a video game.
Story,
You said so.
Story and art wise, this is why I recommended this in such a big way. Because it is amazing where they go with this. It really is. And like, but it's more of like a connection with characters. Like the shit that they do, like it all makes sense in the writing. And that's what I said. Like if they just did it for the sake of doing it and it made no fucking sense, yeah, I'd be pissed about it for sure. I've been pissed about it on other stuff. It's like, why they do that? Like I know there's certain movies that came out. It's like they made no sense why there was a sex scene there, like out of nowhere. Like it's just kind of dumb, you know. And it's like it doesn't add to the story. It doesn't add to the characters. And it's
It
just
never does.
Yeah.
Sex and stuff never enhances the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you want to have a connection with characters, there's ways of doing it. And there again, like what they did with Jason Victor, like there's a brotherly bond there. There's like they connected through the science, through the magic and what they were making, you know.
And they heal people. I mean, the fact he's a nobody, somebody that was a somebody who is now a nobody.
Adam, wait, Adam, wait. We're gonna get into spoilers.
Well, I mean, that's just in the episodes that we saw. They, you can tell he's an assistant.
Yeah, but it's like I said, there's really good stuff, and like I said, just as we get into it, yeah, we'll break them down for everyone and we'll give our thoughts. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, very positive all around, and that's why I wanted to jump into this. So, but yeah, any final thoughts, Trina, before we get going, and anything else you'd like to let them know about?
Just thanks for doing this. It was fun reviewing these episodes with you guys. No, hope everybody enjoyed the review, and hope you all have a great week.
Awesome. And yeah, Wednesday.
And on Wednesdays on my channel, at Real Horror on and what time are we doing this? 8 p.m. Eastern. Vinny and I are reviewing the TV series Hannibal. And so yeah, catch that. You can, if you want to follow along, there are some sites online that are streaming it for free. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do remember when I Googled it that I saw that. So you can follow along. We'll be doing episodes 2 and 3 this Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And then on Tuesday on Etep's channel, Etep and I are going to be reviewing Krampus, the horror Christmas movie. Yeah, so that'll be fun if you want to catch us there. That's about all I can think of. My mind, my brain is a little fried right now, but yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Krampus was great. I watched that with you, I think. And
yeah, we did that watch party.
That was awesome.
Yeah, Chris saved the day because I couldn't get it to stream on my.
Yeah, that was awesome. But yeah. Thank you to everybody else. Yeah, then I know some people didn't want to review it or they were busy too, so no problems. But yeah, tune in on Tuesday over there, Wednesday for the Hannibal, which is good too. That we're getting into a psychological kind of drama, because that also, while we break down this stuff, you're going to see a lot of crazy psychology happening here too. Excellent stuff all around. But Trina, thank you so much as always.
Yeah, thank you.
Kicking it over to Adam. Any final thoughts on this? Anything else you like to add?
Yeah, just I really enjoyed the way that the first 3, and as I said on Friday, if you get through the first 3 and don't really care for it, then this isn't for you. I'm sorry. It's true. It's true. It's damn true. I was in from the beginning, the opening, man. Like I said, that was a very strong opening and a way to open it.
Yep.
And to even start this tale, this is where we're starting at. This is your starting point. It's like, wow. And then to go from something that dark to kids running on the roof and everything. So yeah, everything that happens, the part where they're screwing around with it before they call it the hex, and the windows blew out, and the piece comes in and cuts Chase in the face. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah. It's the details, it's the small
Yep.
details, what I really loved about this.
There's little things that you can miss, but then there's little things that mean even more the later on you get in, and then they refresh your memory with stuff. And again, it's as simple as in these 3 episodes, you see that the girls themselves and their relationship, how much it's already changed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
All right. I would hold on. I would argue that instead of just the first three, I'd give the first four a chance. And if by the fourth one you're not sold or you don't care, then yeah, then bow out. But yeah, if you're an artist, you're a fool if you aren't watching this. I'll say right off the bat. If you're an artist or a creator, check your brain somewhere else, because this thing is so influential on so many levels. Even if you don't like the story, you don't like the characters, whatever, just the art that went into it. I mean, I would be freezing frames and studying from it, what you could do with atmosphere, with lighting, with mood, with tone. There's so much in here that is just jaw dropping. So, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't.
It feels like a Bob Ross painting.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
I
had a style that I was doing like this for certain things, and it's like I always wanted to see like animated like that. So I don't know. Maybe at some point, in the future, you never know, right?
Yeah,
some of my stuff.
Anything's possible.
But Adam, thank you so much, brother.
Yeah.
Maybe next week we'll have more people jumping in. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. And I do have some awesome projects, by the way. If you have not seen them, please go support them. Jump on it. I'll drop a quick link out there. If my internet complies with me. Peace.
The pig left, so now it's gonna get you.
Yeah, here's my here's the Art of Vinny. So if you guys haven't seen it, you want to get some great stuff, please do. I'll share it real quick as well. Yeah, so we have again, so some of this fantastic artwork. Although the City of Venus is that right now you can't get it. If you do want it, you could contact me directly, but right now it's not available on any sites. But everything else pretty much is, and all my stuff ships immediately. So if you want some awesome gifts for family, friends, whatever, we have it. And like I said, we have just a whole slew of great stuff. We got the kid book, Ghostly Manor on Howling Hill. We got the art books, the 140-page art book. We have the Volume 3 art book. If you want the original three together, you get them like that. And a ton of great art, original art, if you're looking for that. So jump on all of it. And we do have Shadow of the Kraken with Through the Woods. That's still available as well over on the Shadow of the Kraken Indiegogo. So if you type in Vinnieart.com, it should take you straight over there. If not, you just scroll down to the bottom here. Oh, by the way, I did this Wolverine's gone. So if you were looking for him, he sold.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, it was awesome. Sean Etep, thank you, brother. I think he's the fine owner of that one now. Great dude. But yeah, you can come down here and hit Kraken, and there you go. I'll take you to this one, which I'll drop the link out there for you guys too. So it's in the description if you guys missed it. There you go. Here it is. So there you are. But yeah. Nelson, don't do yourself a disservice, brother. Arcane's fantastic. Awesome. And we're going to keep covering it on here. Because like I said, watch the whole series. It's all absolutely epic. So, but yeah, so here is the pirate book. Jump on that one if you haven't. Like I said, we're running short on a few things here and there. But if you want them now, get them now. Through the Woods, same deal. You get it on this campaign. Bam. And this one comes with the ash can, the bookmark, all that great stuff. So thank you, everyone. And yeah, we'll wrap this one up. But yeah, there's Tommy. Tommy, thank you again, brother, for popping in a bit. Hope you feel better. Nelson, thanks for saying hello. Captain Outis. Manless Motivation, Keely Chow. All you guys and girls are fantastic. Thank you for everyone. If you're watching on the replay, you all rock. O'Neill, thanks for popping in as well. Let me see, Keely Chow. I think I hit everyone. If I missed you, my apologies. A little bit talked out tonight too. But yeah, tune in soon. Tomorrow, where most of the guys will be over on Etep stream.
Wrestling with Horror, 8:35 Eastern Standard Time.
I'll try to jump in a little later. I'm not watching the wrestling stuff, to be honest. I think I've tapped out. But I might pop in later for other stuff. But yeah. So everybody, please have an awesome one, and we'll see you soon.
All right, move on. Nothing to see here. Please disperse. Nothing to see here. Please